You're like the
Yo.
intro guy for him.
I got the hook on my. It's like
All right, Cheese is here. I got to put his text over now. Glorious's text needs to come down. Boom.
Yeah, please.
Shibby moves over a little bit.
I got the hook on my. It's like
All right, Cheese is here. Boom. Put his text over now.
I haven't drank in
And
2 years.
then-
Get weird with it. Like 2 years, I haven't.
So I've
All right.
identified what's going on with my lag. I just don't know how you fix it.
What's going on?
All those add-ons.
It starts lagging when I plug the webcam back in, it pops up in Discord. Do you want a new audio thing detected? Do you want to switch? I don't, because I like using my microphone. And as soon as I say don't switch is when it starts getting laggy again for some reason.
Well, try completely closing Discord and run it as administrator. That might fix it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you're getting like five FPS on there.
I like the fucking. You got the surfer. You got the.
Anyway, let's crank it off. Welcome back, everybody, to the second Tavern Talk.
Gone.
Joined again by Shibby, Glorious. We now have Cheese on here. Pudding decided to leave because he broke his camera. It's not working right now. But this is going to be a pretty spicy episode. I think we got some good things to talk about. You guys dropped a bunch of comments last time. We're going to try and bring up as much as we can, but we're going to try and keep it under 3 hours because last time I got way too drunk and it was pretty dangerous for me to be drunk on YouTube Live. So, yeah. Other than that, we can pull up the doc and we can kick it off. I honestly think the easiest thing to start this off with, that I'm sure everyone wants to talk about, would be the class tuning that we had come through. I don't know if anyone wants to kick that off. I know I'm really excited about it.
I thought, like, I was thinking, what the hell do we get inside? I was like, one shaman. I don't think 2 shaman. I think 3 shaman buffs.
You're cutting off.
Oh, you cut
Yeah.
off for a second there, Jeez.
Keep
They
cutting
listen.
off, like,
Yeah, Blizzard's listening. They're like,
Yeah,
stop bad
they're
talk
trying to
shamans.
stop you.
we could only shaman buff.
3.
Everyone gets the
3 buffs.
idea.
Yeah.
3 fucking.
Hey,
Dang it.
Warlock's got a little buff though, right?
Yeah, they're.
Pudding, it's working.
Now it looks like it's working again.
All
Dude,
right.
I don't know what the fuck just happened. As soon as I closed Discord, the whole computer was like, "We need to restart real quick. Hold up."
Nah, it's good now. It's perfect. So yeah, we decided we were gonna start off with the awesome class changes, right? That we got. So how do you feel about what's changed for hunters, shamans, and locks so far, Pudding?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm blank on this one. I haven't paid attention.
You don't know, dude?
If it doesn't involve paladins, I don't give a shit.
Oh
One
my-
trick pony. One
Yep.
trick pony.
Dude.
I've got 15 years experience on a paladin. That's all you're gonna get
He has
from me.
15 paladins inside.
Yep.
Well, if you didn't know, they nerfed shamans into the ground, and everyone who plays shaman is currently re-rolling paladins. So
Did they really?
yeah. They took away dual wield. They took away lava burst, a lot of shit. So it's kind of
Shit,
crazy.
I gotta
You
pull
didn't
this
know
up.
this?
I'm pulling it up now.
Oh
Let's
my
see all
God,
that.
Pudding! Come on, dude.
Dude, I'm about to do 90 in the Prius. Don't worry.
I just did. I
I'm gonna
zoomed. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Now far
I'll raise you up a little bit.
gas.
How far, like in the WoW Classic news, how far up would I find all these class?
It was pretty recent. Yeah, you'll find it in there, dude. They took away lava burst. They took away dual wielding. People were going nuts on the forum saying they were all gonna reroll paladins, Ret mainly. It's pretty wild.
I mean, but for real, when they're testing something, they were always overdoing that. So Hunter, like 10% down from 15%, but it's stacking up 5 stacks. So it's really 50% damage increase instead of 75.
Yep.
So that's like could be a 25% nerf for that spell, which is really very high. And then the other one, the pet nerf 10%, is the pet is the number 1 damage. really. So the second is the Raptor Strike. Third is probably the Mongoose Strike. So I don't know how I feel that in the middle of the season they nerf class or spec by, I mean, I don't know how was going to be the end, maybe 15%.
They're the only
more.
DPS.
Yeah.
You're still cutting it off.
Cut off a little bit there, Billy.
Yeah.
We hear the first part of the sentence and then you're gone, basically, every time. I think something with the microphone activation. Anyhow,
But, yeah, go ahead,
I don't
Glorious.
know. No, I was just saying that they got melee hunter hyped a bit too high, and now they keep nerfing and buffing the rest. But I'm not sure if this is a good idea in the middle of the season. And also, why do they not just nerf it a bit every time on some small incremental things? They are just like buff.
They blast it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I do. I feel like doing these. I think that the tuning should come prior to or after a phase. I think whatever it launches as, right? With, you know, respect to if something is so incredibly broken that it like actually is breaking the game and breaking raid mechanics and stuff like that, it should be fixable. But my opinion is that these classes, you should go into a phase knowing what your class is doing and like not be able to wake up tomorrow and your class is either now it's through the roof on the meter or it's completely dumpstered, which I think that completely kills the experience for a lot of people. But that being said, Pudding, we were completely joking about the shaman nerfs. By the way, they have
the opposite.
I was looking.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not seeing none of this shit.
No, they got buffed, dude. They got super buffed.
What you say is how it should be, but in turn, what they do is say, no, next phase is coming out in like a month. We're just gonna leave it as is.
Yeah, and I think that is like part of the reason why a lot of people kind of like flip-flop classes constantly, keep restarting, keep farming new pre-raid gear, keep doing this, keep doing that, when it's like, I don't know, yeah, even if something is a little bit broken, right, like, it's, in my opinion, it's okay. I would just leave it for the phase.
That's the question. Was it broken? I mean, if rogues were the number one, or shamans, would they have nerfed them that much?
Well, it goes back to PvP.
And
it goes back to the fact that they're not getting nerfs.
I think
They're
PvP
just
was
getting
not
buffs.
super strong. Hunter,
wait, are we on shamans or hunters right now? I'm confused.
I was on
Hunters,
shamans.
I think.
Hunters. Okay, so you're talking about hunter. You're talking about shaman.
No one plays melee hunter in PvP.
These are facts. No one plays it.
True.
They got a
So I
massive
don't think that's
PvP
and
PvP
and-
buff.
we have seen rogues and other pure DPS classes that high, kind of higher than the rest, and the melee hunter doesn't have much utility, so it's more like DPS, like it's a rogue, it's a way worse rogue from utility perspective. So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could kind of see what you're saying. Like, why is it hunters get targeted specifically? It's almost like a meme, right? And I agree with that. I mean, that's been that way since the beginning of SOD, but I think that it's kind of been that way for hunters for Season of Discovery, mainly because of how, like, think about phase 1, dude. You remember all that crazy stuff that was going on where they were like, people were just getting soloed by like scorpion pets and like, so I think it kind of put them into this like big meme bubble for all of Season of Discovery. But I agree with what you're saying in that, like, why are they being targeted when there's other classes like Rogue or whatever? Like, it doesn't fully make sense. But yeah, I honestly think that's why. I think it's that from the beginning of Season of Discovery, hunters have just had like a target on their back.
Hunter bad.
Absolutely no
shaman
pun intended at all there.
Some Tusi, I don't know how to say that. He's saying that it should be around 70%, 7% loss overall damage. So no need to burn the house down.
Right. So it's not
That could be,
massive.
I mean,
Right, and they have more, like, they have a pretty big lead over a lot of other DPS classes, so I guess we'll have to see tomorrow in our raid how Rainy's feeling. And then Warlock's got a little bit of
They got a good PvP buff.
yeah. But
Really good PvP buff.
yeah, Invocation now applies to Unstable Affliction. Invocation damage can now deal crits. Oh yeah, with Pandemic Rune active.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. I mean, yeah, and that's to be expected. Locks were feeling kind of underwhelming this entire phase, in my opinion.
I think it's okay. that
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
nobody got bothers.
Let them
As well.
shine in PvP. They've been having a real rough time.
I mean,
Yep.
is anybody still gonna run Invocation?
PvP wise, they'll probably run.
Yeah, probably in PvP. But I mean, realistically, other than that, aside from these few changes, it's been pretty quiet, right? In terms of like class tuning and stuff the past couple of weeks. So you're getting like a few tweaks here and there, but it's nothing like the previous phases, which I mean, maybe is a good sign. Maybe things are moving in the right direction. Who knows?
I haven't.
But
I haven't
so I had
tested
no
it
idea
again.
about. Good.
Go ahead,
I
Pudding.
was gonna say I haven't tested it again, but supposedly seal twisting is working properly now.
Really
I haven't tested it, but because
interesting.
I hate seal twisting to begin with.
I don't know why you hate that, dude. I think it's so fun.
It was in one expansion.
And it
20
was
years
fun.
ago. Give it a break.
It was
Let
fun.
it go.
It's
The whole
fun, dude.
Fucking Paladin
It's-
Discord is twist this, twist my balls. It was
Grab
in
a stick
one
and
expansion. It was in one expansion. Let it go. Give me 30-minute seals. Give me Art of War,
Yes,
Prox Divine Storm. Give me that. Because at the
30
moment,
guess.
Alliance is so bad because of how bad Paladins are.
dude.
And Druids. Like, you have to have 2 raid spots on Alliance for 1 shaman.
I want
True, very
so
true.
bad. The only buff I give a fuck about a paladin getting is give me 30-minute seals that cannot be dispelled. I will shut up.
30-minute seals that breaks the whole paladin fucking
No,
play
it-
style in
no,
classic,
no,
dude.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
That is
Yeah,
a
and avenging rot every 10 seconds for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
30-minute seals.
But
I remember
mean,
when you
I'm-
said, give me longer blessings, and I'll shut up.
Yeah, that's true. You did ask for that, and you got those.
We got
You
these
got those, dude.
Because when I hit 60, I still get the 30-minute blessings. Right now, I got 10 minutes. I mean, hell.
I'm not playing Horde, so can you guys tell me if this shaman change that they put in recently, is it significant or just a cosmetic?
I
And is
would
it for PvP or PvE?
Both.
both. Yeah.
It's to buff up Elemental to, they're really dog shit in PvE, but good in PvP. So now they're just going to be even better in PvP and move up a couple spots in PvE.
Right.
They got their burn rune now affects like their flame ton weapon to give you a lot of spell power. And the rune they use for their lightning shields got bumped up to
But
50%
why?
procs.
Why shaman?
And it also procs overload now.
But do we feel like shamans were weak and
Well, they
didn't-
weren't weak in PvP, but like what Cheese said, in terms of like in raid on if you go to Warcraft logs, like Elemental Shaman was like legit, like
But like
D
One
tier.
of the word, yeah.
Yeah.
the
one of
way
the
they
worst
made
DPSs.
this phase, I'm almost like the way they gave you like starter sets for everything with Emerald Warden. I feel like they gave you that so you can do both PvE and PvP. If you're PvE, you go enhance. If you're PvP, you go
Right.
elemental. Same
Well-
thing with warlocks.
Have you seen how elementals are doing since this PvP weird damage thing they've done?
No.
The weekend aura thing.
Yeah, I just saw the Josito Jones just put out a video. It was like he just let every class he put up a timer. He didn't do anything. He just how long can a free casting whatever kill me? And LD Shams were like almost 15 seconds. Balan Druids were like there, but most of the melee classes were like 3 to 6 seconds a kill.
Wow.
So I mean it's a big differential, except for Destro locks. They can still one shot apparently.
Really?
So that's only in battlegrounds.
It was less than a second on Destro locks, and most of the other free casters just standing back there were 10 plus seconds.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
And just like my few encounters I've had, like I just as a balanced druid I can't kill people. Like it was like trying to kill, a tank warlock during phase 1.
Right.
Like,
Just-
it's just not possible.
Just to reiterate, we're talking about with the damage reduction, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
was-
ask you guys
I
how
was
that is. I
following-
haven't PvP'd at all throughout the weekend,
Dude.
so I didn't know how it was.
I gotta admit, I'm about done with solid PvP. I think it's probably at the worst state I've seen WoW PvP ever.
That
Yeah.
takes a lot coming from you.
From
You're
you,
exalted
yeah.
with
But it was just
all you
temporary
do is
change,
PvP.
right?
Yeah,
Exalted
I
with
got.
everything.
I've played PvP extensively through every expansion up through WoD, and I think this is the worst point it's been at.
But this nerf, this like aura, whatever they called it, it was just temporary, right?
Testing.
It was only for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Well, for now, yeah, it was just a testing to get a feel.
Experimental stuff. I was pouring like 40k honor over the weekend. After the first match, I switched to healer instantly because it was just kind of pointless to be shed. I mean, it was okay, but
Glorious, you go disc shadow. You don't go full. Never go full shadow, man. You
Never.
Yeah.
never go full retard. Yeah.
Well,
No, it was kind of I mean this with this buff, and again I'm pretty sure that you have a different perspective, Shibi, but with this buff it felt like phase one when priest was pretty strong and every battleground was 3 or 4 priests, and if you didn't have healers then you lost. If you had healers you win. Same thing here. The more healers each team had, the very high there was a higher chance for winning, regardless of shaman or priest, but primarily priest, I think.
to me, it seemed a lot like healer melee was just it's unstoppable because
Yeah.
they're like, I mean, the dot casters still can do like fine in 1v1s, but like simply like mages going out there, they can't kill people. Free casting druids can.
So
And they barely could
I didn't-
before mages, huh?
I didn't play it or
Yeah.
look too much into it. Did they reduce like the healing in there as well, or is it just?
I don't think so.
No.
I thought they
Oh,
did.
so it's just.
That's
just
the
a
point,
shit
that
show.
they
It's
haven't
just
touched
gross.
it. So like a penance it was like 30-40% HP,
And your entire
without really any
rotation's
buff.
probably like 20.
And then the mending was just, so if we had like 3 priests, and that was like they had 3 priests, so that was like again phase one all over again. It was just everyone running around, nobody can die. At least that's what my impressions. I mean, it's not like I got killed, but it was the number one tactics was what is it called, Viper String.
Mhm.
So literally the whole battleground was who has more Viper Strings and healers, and then it was a war of attrition. So
Right.
not like a bursting. So it was the exact opposite of what before, and I think maybe we need a middle ground, but I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just lower the healing with that.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, could be.
That's true. I mean, but that's kind of getting back to the exact same issue that we had, yeah, in phase one, where,
But it's just slower.
yeah, exactly. But that's interesting because yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to know because I wasn't on pretty much all weekend, so I didn't get to test this at all. I don't know what the PvP felt like, but from
Yeah,
what
it felt rough.
I was gonna say, yeah, but from what you're saying, I mean, I probably wouldn't have seen a big difference then on Rogue or Warrior.
Rogues are still, yeah, they're killing people fine. I mean, their damage is down a little bit, but
I heard Rogues
they're
crying.
Really? Yeah, well, I mean, I could see that. I could see their damage being like, here's the thing, if you
Everybody's-
didn't kill on your opener, you had one reset, and if you got a dot on you before you got to reset or something like that, you were just toast before. So I can imagine it's probably a little bit more
Are
rough.
we gonna get back into the Cloak of Shadows talk again?
oh hell no.
But all
I
right.
think somebody mentioned. I get I don't know. Somebody mentioned in the chat is that the healers had more time to respawn, and that's true. It had some less charm because of this kind of burst didn't really work out. So you theoretically you should have like teamwork. So you focus 3%, focus 1, but then if you don't have that, it's like classic pug experience. Then it was like a big mess, and I think the battlegrounds took longer because there was less chance for capping flags and so on. It was more about defense. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. I didn't hate it though. I mean, honestly, it was a fresh breath of air that I didn't get one shot. It maybe
Right.
I got like, I think the biggest shot I got was like 1200, even with this debuff or
Yeah,
with the
there's
reduction.
there's
But it's not
more room
terrible.
to finesse people in now.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it adds a little bit of that. But Chibi seems very sad. I could tell by his eyes.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
he looks
Yeah.
broken.
No,
Really
those are good points. Like it did feel a lot better with that. Like I just myself, I had so many one-on-one encounters where I felt like playing my resto druid back in the day, where I'd fight somebody for 5 minutes, and then either I'd die or I'd have to go and try and run away and reset because I just don't have the damage to kill him.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Someone.
Well, we don't know. Maybe it's not going to
Maybe
end
it
up
just
being
kills.
permanent, right?
I don't know. You're like you have like best in slot gear, and you're not killing people as a boomy. That's
I wasn't even
Oh,
running PvP gear. I just went with sunken temple gear.
Yeah,
Oh
that-
my God.
man.
I gotta
That's
run it.
Probably hitting for like fucking 3K outside of there.
Oof. Yeah, that sounds a little rough. But who knows? We don't know, right? We don't know if it's going to be permanent, if they're going to put it back, if this is just forgotten completely and we never ever deal with it or talk about it again, right? We have.
They did this in phase 1.
That's true. Yeah, this was in the game in phase 1. I remember that.
But,
There was an
so-
uproar.
Let me ask Shibi. Do you think they should put in a buff like this, but just not as strong as this one, or maybe reduce the healing, or you think that there shouldn't be any nerf to damage?
I think there should be something. I don't think you should just get one shot like what was happening. I think so many players were just getting completely frustrated. But yeah, like there definitely needs to be more balancing to it.
15% sounds like a good number.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, well, I've seen other content creators talking about changing it to where it's like a 30% damage reduction and a 15% healing reduction.
That
There
kinda-
was
yeah.
healing reduction. Didn't feel like
30 seems like a little too much.
I was pumping.
Because like, at the end of the day, you play WoW. Big numbers make you smile.
Right.
You don't want to crit for fucking 400.
Yeah. That's like what I was imagining
with-
when I read that this was coming.
Except if it's done.
But hopefully,
Anyway.
I don't know.
I just hit for 42K and I'm mind blowed. I love this. Oh,
All right. So we talked about the PvP damage reduction aura. Another thing on our list here is that we've seen multiple comments about problems with 20-man rating, 20-player rating, especially compared to 10-player rating with pugs, right? Pugs seem to be struggling quite a bit.
My
Somebody
perspective on
asked-
this,
Somebody asked on the chat.
my perspective has changed on 20-man rating. Last week, all right, so last Tavern Talk, I actually liked the bigger raid groups, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But then we did this last Sunken Temple run and had to pick up Pug Hunters and some others.
Right.
And now I don't like 20-mans anymore. I want to go back to a 10-man core of people I can trust.
You didn't get that sword, did you?
No, I did not get that sword.
3 weeks in, we have 15 people signed up.
Plus
Yeah.
Hammer ninja the fist weapon too.
Whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hammer did ninja.
I did
fist
not
weapon.
ninja it. I won it.
And Cheese came in on an ult and got gear. Not an ult, exalted with wardens, and I'm on my 85th run of Mara solos
Yeah.
for the dagger.
And still no dagger.
No dagger.
Oh.
How long?
I
How
mean-
long until your Arcanite transmute is up?
It's probably up.
Truth be told, I've seen not one comments about how 20-man raiding have ruined somebody's guild and their ability to pick up pugs. So when they were raiding 10-man, they could pick up like 3 pugs or 2 or 1. But then 20 man, if you have only 10 people, like or 12, it's really hard to fill up the raid. They disbanded. They went back to retail. I don't know what is, if it's
You know how to
really
fix that?
representative or not.
G-bits.
What?
I agree.
G-bits.
Yep.
Bring back the G-bits.
That's true. It gave all those people a home, someplace to go raid that they can call
Yeah.
their own. But I mean, me,
Like,
in my opinion, like I'm kind of on both sides. Like I'm seeing now why I guess 20-player rating just doesn't work in SOD. I guess with this like fast cadence and like. I mean, here's the thing. In 2019 Classic, the raids were 40 man raids, and like I jumped in pugs all the time for everything, and like it wasn't a problem. So why now, a few years later, is it so hard to fill a
Parsing.
20-player raid?
Parse
speedrunning
culture.
Parse
speedrunning
culture.
Parse culture.
Yeah,
It's speedrunning.
I guess so. But if
It's
you're joining
speedrunning.
pug raids, like, I mean, the person leading the raid and joining a pug raid is like parsing and speed running in a random pug. Like really, like why is that even your goal? Why wouldn't you
Everyone's
just be
in
in a
a
game?
rush to get out of the one thing they do in
Yep.
this game every week.
Yeah, I mean,
Everyone's in a rush.
The dads are no longer in COVID, so they're back to their 4 jobs. They don't have time.
yeah,
I guess,
and
yeah.
I kind of remember Hammer going back to this question of like, past versus now. I remember when I was first playing WoW, like let's say Burning Crusade, I was really, yeah, I had a bunch of time to wait up, and I didn't really expect that I'm gonna get any loot, right? I didn't even expect that we're gonna kill a boss, right? I was happy that I was invited to the raid and we did something, and then be on my way. Right now it's
Right.
different. It's like people have an expectation. I want to kill at least this many bosses in this much amount of time. If I don't get it,
Yeah.
then I don't even get starting on it. So
Right.
that's
Yeah, I mean
that's good.
that goes back to like what I said last week, where like it's this mentality that everyone that like realistically, in my opinion, and I don't mean to call out Blizzard here, but it's this mentality that every single player needs to be able to clear every single piece of content in the same amount of time. It's like it makes no sense. Original WoW was not like that. 2019 Classic wasn't even like that. And like I used the example last week of saying like when I played this game when I was a kid, right? Like let's talk like 2005, 2006. First of all, it took me like over a year to even get a cap level character. And back then, I barely ever even stepped foot into a raid. And I probably had the most fun I ever had in WoW. You know what I'm trying to say? It's the mentality of like everyone needs to do all the content. Everyone needs to do it, be able to do it the same way. People who are better shouldn't be allowed to be better. Like that's, to me, is kind of not really healthy for the game. And especially with Season of Discovery, the route that they went down when they first launched it and phase 1, where they were like pitching it as like it's all about discovery. It's like there's no race. That's why we're giving you level brackets and all this stuff. We're stopping you from rushing. It's almost like I said, that after phase 1, that kind of went out the window, and like their entire direction of where they wanted to take SOD completely shifted. Which I don't know. And if in the same
But
breath
that guy
you
makes
can,
a good point.
yeah, you could just be like, okay, so if everyone needs to be able to clear all of the content and everyone needs to be equal and like it needs to be accessible to everyone, I get that. But like then the entire thing is kind of flawed in my opinion, because no one's equal if they're making a character and the first thing you're doing is going on Wowhead and following guides to get all of your runes just to have all your abilities on your class, right?
I was
So
about to say,
how is that
yeah,
accessible then?
I was about to say I haven't discovered a rune for myself except for phase 1 when me and you were doing Seal of Martyrdom together.
Exactly. That's my point. Like it's kind of it contradicts itself, and I think it contradicts itself because in phase 1, they were planning on taking it in a very different direction than the direction that it actually has gone in. And like Cheese said, it's heavily influenced by parsing and speedrun culture, which I love that. But at the same time, experiencing it in Season of Discovery, right? And we're all above average players. We're not the best, but we're like way above average. I think SOD would be a healthier place without logs and without that culture.
I was about
That
to say,
whole culture's always been here.
Yeah.
But it's just now it's just everybody instead of that small,
Right.
group of people.
like I just
Yeah.
watched Sarth's video of a 20-minute Sunken Temple clear.
Like
Yeah, but
like the whole speed
isn't-
thing, it's a job. It feels like a job. You're not having
It's a-
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full-time job at that point.
I think that the kind of a part of the problem. I don't want to switch like full philosophical because I haven't drinking enough beer, but it's like people changed as well. Like the expectations changed. I mean, if you have to like walk from A to B, 1 hour, that's currently as a
Pretty
bad
cool.
game design, as not what it was in 2004 or 2010 or whatever even. That's part of it. I don't know how can they do something that's like up to date to the current standards while it still feels like classic. Then I think that they probably are trying to just figure it out. What works, what doesn't work.
Right.
But honestly, it's the same thing all over again. The first phase was so good because it was new and there was brand new things
Right.
that you didn't expect. You didn't expected nothing. And then after that, it's just kind of somewhat repetitive. So you're not gonna get that feeling again.
And I mean, it's important to note here that
I'll chase that high forever.
Although everyone, nowadays is like, oh yeah, classic is easy. It's super easy. Like it's like the most simplest form of the game. All these raids are easy. Like what you just said, it wasn't designed that way in 2004, right? Those raids, they didn't design classic WoW to be easy back then, right? Back then, those raids weren't easy for a lot of the player base, for most of the player base. And I'd say that more than half of the player base never even stepped foot into a single raid, and it still grew to be one of the biggest MMOs of all time, right? So, like, clearly that isn't what made it big. And, like, now designing it to intentionally be easy, I don't know. Maybe it is like super inclusive for everybody, but I feel like it does more harm than good.
Well, like I think what made a lot of it fun back then was actually discovering new stuff, like, and enjoying like the leveling process. Like this phase, like we talked about, took all the leveling out.
Yeah.
With incursions and whatnot, and I feel like if they just, I think that would be more of a different type of Classic Plus. I think that's what people were asking for originally before they announced Discovery was, putting in new zones to level in and new dungeons so people could enjoy the non-maxed out content.
Right. Which is why Phase 1 was so great, right?
But what if this is just like it's always been 60 is the end game. What if it's all, you get all those new dungeons and whatnot at 60 to just have it set?
Could be, but vanilla wasn't the end game content. I feel like that drew most people in. So I feel like if they invested more into that, they could keep some of these people around.
Yeah, what drew most people in was making your male night elf hunter walking around with the blowout.
That goes to what Gloria said, though. People are different nowadays.
Yeah.
No one wants to sit there getting 6-hour levels.
Yeah.
No one back then, or
they'll
hardly
say they want all this, but they don't.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone back,
but you don't.
But also, hardly back.
Do.
I was gonna say, hardly back then, in 2005, 2004 rating, there was very few people that were actually going weekly and farming up world buffs. They were just throwing whatever they had at it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
They just wipe over and over and over for it.
Nobody was like fully optimized. I mean, yes, there were guilds that were like way more optimized, but it was like very, very few. And like no one was like optimizing to the point where they are now and stuff. And I get it. Like people got smarter. We have way more information now. Like pretty much everything is solved before you even do it, right? Like you're not figuring anything out on your own anymore. And that's part of it. Gamers are just fast. I guess everything is just faster. But then that leads me to like my next point would be that like, then there is like a way that this could work, right? And the way to make it work is to figure out how to make it like impenetrable, like make it give you that same feeling as it was back then, but like physically stop people from the min-maxing the parsing.
Take the summon ability out of the game.
Yeah, basically, like think about that right there. What you just said, that one single thing.
Services.
Yes. Imagine if you could not just pay 3 gold, 2 gold, 4 gold, whatever, to get teleported to wherever you want in the world.
I don't pay those bots shit.
That's gonna put a damper on me. That's like 3 or 4 hours out of my day.
I know. See, that's the thing. Like Glorious is right. People are just different. Like
we
sit here.
Of Warcraft was bigger without the taxis.
Yeah, it was. And like, is that why there's so much controversy surrounding Classic WoW all the time, like permanently? Is it because like everyone like wants it to be how it was back then, but then like you kind of don't?
Do you have all the flight paths in the game right now?
I don't.
Me? Yes, I do.
Puddin', you don't count.
What the fuck?
You don't count. You had all the flight paths in the first phase.
Yeah, I did. The world warper, the world warper hooked me up.
No, I mean honestly, I still go with that take that I don't want to farm gold like 4 hours just to get to the raid. I don't want to really walk that much, but I get why. So on one side of my brain understands that if you don't walk 4 hours, you don't feel like you don't feel the same sense of achievement and discovery. That's true, but at the same time, I don't want to spend 4 time on it. So that's the solution.
But Glorious.
So-
If
And $4.
if speed running and parse culture and all of this super optimization wasn't a thing, you wouldn't need to spend 4 hours farming gold for consumes to go into the raid because you would just walk in
Yeah,
there
that's
with
right.
res sickness like people used to do back in 2004. Like literally, no
Yeah.
one gave a shit, right? It's
We
Well,
don't
now
need
people spend 3 hours to farm the gold for consumes and another couple hours running around getting world buffs, whereas like back in the day they'd rather just spend that gold on repair buffs and wiping for 3 hours.
right,
It
which
the
was
same amount
like
of time
part
in
of
gold, but
yeah.
it was just a different way to get to the end result.
Yeah. And like
We
talking
don't-
about this now, it's making me think about all this and I'm like, man, I don't really know if that would be popular nowadays. Like I know there would be
No.
some popularity, but I don't think it would be as big as Classic is now.
Go look up the hardcore numbers and the solo self-found numbers. That's how popular it would be.
I
We don't
guess
need any.
that's
I'm just
true,
gonna, as a side note, I'm just gonna put in. We don't need anybody else in the guild going on business trips. Okay, no more business trips for the guild.
Speaking of business trips, Cataclysm, man. Ooh, I
I'm
can't even get my
off.
flying.
yeah. Ooh.
I'm on it right now. You said you can?
I can't afford it.
Are you kidding me,
200
Shibby?
gold ship.
How much gold do you
Yes,
need, dude? We got gold.
It's 200
No.
gold.
No, I got that one. I like the faster flying, like the $4,000 one.
Oh, yeah. You need
Buy
that.
a WoW
Real
token.
fish.
I might have to get a WoW token.
Buy a WoW token.
Just go with.
What's the
Uber.
conversion rate sod to wrath? I have a good amount of wrath gold. What are you
Oh
your
my-
offering?
20 to 1.
Let me get some of that bleach you used on your hair.
All right.
Solid
Put
trade.
it in
I'll
your
meet you in
beard.
Stormwind. There you go.
Dude,
I'll meet you in Stormwind.
I balled out with 4 WoW tokens the day Hammer was like, "Hey, y'all want to do some ICC rating?"
I can't
And then we
believe
never
you did that,
and
dude.
then we never did nothing.
You didn't want to.
You didn't want to. We all wanted to.
You were the one that didn't want to.
All right, we're getting
We need to
sidetracked. This is how this ends up being 3.5 hours, dude. All right. We still didn't answer the question. The
Right.
20 player raids, 10 player raids. I'm in the middle here, right? Like I enjoy 10 player raids. I like bigger raids. I like 40 player raids, but if it's gonna be like this, I don't want 40 man raids. Just because we literally can't even. I mean, we have a very established guild of people, especially the first 2 phases. We had multiple raid groups running. A lot of people that are super passionate about the game, and even our guild is struggling to like maintain players at this point. And I know it's just probably because we're in the middle of this phase, and obviously next phase, there's no guarantee, like no doubt in my mind that it's going to pick back up.
Yeah, 7 days was a fucking mistake.
Yeah, maybe this raid should have stayed 3
It was
day,
not the 20 man or 10 man. It was
7 day.
days. It
Maybe.
was not the number.
I will also say, I think for our guild at least, what I think is happening is we've got people that are already full bis minus maybe their epic weapons, and we're having to pug for them now.
Yeah, it's true, and that's what happens. And I mean, really, you can't even blame these people.
I mean, this is
3
true.
days keeps people on the game.
Yeah.
7 days is like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
That was like
I
a week
guess.
ago.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, I'm in the middle. I could stick with 20 player raids. I could stick with 10. Both were very fun. I guess the smaller, like one of the pros for me is that you kind of like get a little bit more like close knit with your group. You know what I mean? You become like
I
really.
hated my
Yeah.
group.
I loved our
Yeah.
group.
I wish I was with Shibby.
Where's
They were
Charmer?
nice. Shibby
back
and
Charmer.
Glorious were nice.
Yeah, but here's the thing. In the first 2
gone.
phases, like I never got to play with Glorious or Shibby that much ever. Right? So like now I feel like this phase, like we kind of like, it's like the same thing. It's like we have like 15 people now that are like pretty core, close knit people, right? And then we pug like 5 people. And then whoever else goes on a business trip for the week. But
Yep.
it's like
I think Mikey's going
I
on a
think-
business trip after seeing that video.
I know.
I think 10 man is for me is still. I mean, again, I like to raid in this new group, but I like the 10 man better because there's better chance for building like relationships or
Yeah.
easier because there's a smaller group, and
Yeah.
especially if you only have like 8 people, the other 2 is changing or pug, then that 8 people gets closer than if you have 20 something, and then that 20 is one raid. So from that perspective, I like 10 more. I think that people should still make 20 work. I mean, if that at the old times people want the old classic back, it is just work. You have to build your guild.
Yeah.
You have to try to get people and hire
Well-
and then fire, and it's age old.
What would have been the harm of having a 10 and 20? A 10 and 20.
Who's gonna run 20?
What was
That's
the
true,
question?
yeah. He's saying if there's a 10 and a 20, what's the harm in that? And then Chibi said no one would run the 20.
Give them 5 higher gears.
I think they should be
Yeah,
on a
but
different reset, maybe.
a little bit better
Yeah.
gear is
I think we'll run into the same issue. That
I
we're just
think
gonna
they
have
should make-
nobody's gonna try and form 10-mans. There's not gonna be
I
any
just-
10-man pugs.
But
I just-
wait.
I just-
Well, in BC, I mean, you had Corazon and you had the bigger raids, and I really loved Corazon. Even if I needed one loot, I found a way to get there because it was just so fun.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the real rating was of course 25 and whatever. But I think it would be interesting to have like 2 raids. One is 10, one is 25, and a different reset. Maybe the 25 is a weekly reset.
Yeah.
And a reminder, I think
I've
not every
thought-
guild clears it in 2 hours.
I've thought since the beginning, and I know you hate this. Currency, not token. That would keep people in the raid.
yeah.
Nah. I don't like it.
You have 10s
You
and
mean
25s, and
loot?
you have currencies for both that you can spend on
Like badges.
like your yeah. So you would have to do 10 and 25 to get like your max amount.
I guess, yeah. I
Instead
mean,
of,
that
like,
would,
right
yeah.
Now people like how quick, like with the amount
Like
of loot everyone's I got 3-piece on 2 characters in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I haven't got 3-piece yet.
yeah.
I'm not on your token.
Nope.
But that is a good point. I never thought
Glorious
about it like what
interesting.
Gloria said with the Karazhan thing. Like we all loved Karazhan, right? But it wasn't the real raid. Like that was just like kind of like a
I don't know,
glorified
y'all remember that
dungeon.
chess- Y'all remember that
That
chess
was-
event? It was pretty tough.
Karazhan was the raid you went into fresh. in
Yeah.
G-Bit.
Yeah, but didn't they say we
wanna-
were getting a 10 and a 20 in phase 3? Like, why do I remember that being a thing? Did I
Said
make that
something
up in
about
my
it.
head?
No.
I just want to
No,
touch
there
on.
was-
I just want to touch on something Gloria said about building relationships. When we were a 10-man doing Nomar, all it was every night for me was about an hour and a 30 hour or so clear, maybe sometimes sub clear, of getting shit talked the whole time about how hard I am to tank or how
I
hard
never
I am
did
to
it.
heal.
I never said a bad word about you.
I swear to God, I don't miss the 10-man experience at all.
I mean,
I ain't heard a
I-
complaint about my tanking yet, except for going in the
I don't know.
hole.
Maybe our raid was superior. Of course it was, but it was completely chill.
Your raid,
Sometimes
your raid was
right,
kinder.
because nobody was watching, paying attention to the actual raid. We were just talking and then talking. Oh, by the way, we just won.
Shib-
It's okay.
Shibby
Go
came
back.
for the first 2 weeks of ours.
Yeah, I healed you, Puddin, for the first 2 weeks.
Was I
He
hard
had
to
no-
heal?
Shibby was fucking balanced and he had no problem healing you.
Mm-hmm. But no, I had to look forward to it twice a week. I'm about to get shit talked for an hour about
Oh,
how
yeah.
hard this is.
Pudding, if you only seen my whispers during raids from iFight. It's nothing to do with you. If you hear iBite randomly laughing on Discord, it's because I said some shit.
I don't know. To me, in my
do
opinion,
you
I
guys-
guess with the way Season of Discovery is going, I would say I was all for a 20-man raids and even bigger, but seeing how bad it is and how many people are struggling, I guess at this point, my opinion would change. If I'm going for like the health of the game and having players to be around to play with at 60, I guess 10-man raiding is
want
really what
40.
people want, huh? That's what
I
I was
want
originally
40.
saying. I was cool with 40. Like I have no problem.
I still have the thing where like it feels good to be above like 30 other people,
Right.
35 other people on the DPS meter. Fuck them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
I'm not gonna say fuck you to like the 7 friends I made on fucking or 10 man because I beat them.
so you want 20, you want 20 above average
Shitters.
players, and then you want 20 below average players that were like friends and family
Make me
that are
feel-
being carried.
Make me feel
that
better.
you can
about
shit
myself.
talk. Yeah.
Yes.
We
Uh-huh.
can bring in
I-
more players like that priest that almost snuck into our ST this last
Oh,
week.
that was fucking
Yeah,
terrible.
that guy was
He had
he was
staff of
trying to get
Westfall.
in, dude.
Staff
He
of
didn't
Westfall.
have his abilities, his runes, and he had Staff of Westfall.
Dude,
Yeah,
he had
that's-
worse gear
I mean,
than
come on.
that. Like, yeah, he had
mean-
regular Westfall greens and
Ivory cloth of the eagle.
You can probably still clear it.
Yeah, you definitely
Blue
can.
green.
Right. I
He
mean,
didn't have
yeah.
runes or abilities.
yeah, yeah. He was really trying to jump on our backs, but
He was
We
trying
caught
to
him.
jump in the 20
well,
man.
Cheese caught him.
We
Oh,
got
I,
him.
Realistically-
fuck, I gave him an ocular pat down. I went right for it.
Realistically, there is not going to be an issue of a question whether 10 or 20, because I think on level 60, all of the raids are going to be at least 20. Because I think they're not going to, nerf back Molten Core and Blackwing Lair and any of those raids to down to level,
to
10.
10.
man.
Yeah, I
Well,
agree.
they
they're going to
You caught that.
They
You
honey
caught
dicked everybody by giving
You-
them 10s for 6 months and then switched it to 20. Just
Yeah, but let's think
one
about
or-
that.
One or the other.
If going from a 10-man raid to a 20-man raid destroyed your guild, well, I don't
one
really.
raid is at one time and the other raid is at another time because those are the time people can make.
Right. Yeah,
Also, there is this stronger competition. People are like, oh, now I have to work and invite people to my guild and do some work. Let's just go back to retail, Cataclysm or whatever else there is, or
right.
Fortnite or whatever
Hammer
people
Rotary.
play.
I'm
these
just
days.
saying.
I don't
Priest,
think Fortnite players play WoW.
Hey,
Jeez.
dude.
Oh, they do. They do.
Do they
Yeah, but you
really?
don't know,
They
dude.
were in your raid.
Wow.
Cheese caught that priest that was trying to sneak in, but he let that ranged hunter just slip right through the cracks.
I'm sorry, Puddin.
I don't think he.
I don't-
I'm not.
I don't know. I think you're right, Glorious. I think we're gonna see 20
I got
man
you, Thunder
raids.
Fury.
That's where it's going to be at. We're going to have 20-man raids at 60. The only way I could see them sneaking a 10 in is if it's like an additional raid, right? Like a 10-man
So-
raid and a 20.
Just
Keep
speaking
me
on it,
honest here. There was when they announced this thing, they had a presentation with screens from Nomeregan, Blackwing, whatever the first raid was, and there was I think a Corazon screen, right? Like a screen grab.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Tarzan
remember that?
and Scarlet Monastery.
So there is gonna be a Corazon something, right? Or that's not
Yeah,
confirmed,
Crips.
or
rips.
Yeah,
I
the
mean-
basement.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of teased it the same way they did the Scarlet
don't.
Monastery thing.
Dude, if they don't do Crips, this
No,
community is
yeah.
gonna burn. They're gonna burn.
That was their
was the
fucking selling
prediction.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They will. They'll do it. And there will be a Scarlet raid of some sort. Like, that's what I'm saying. People are like,
The only question with that is it before or after next? I think
Yeah.
after next.
I say after.
I hope it comes
One will
after.
I
be
think
before,
that'll be-
one will be after. I think
Yeah.
yeah,
I
maybe
think that's-
Karazhan.
Kara-
because
Crips
They
will be
have
the
to-
after.
they have Phase 4, and then there's like one other thing they said like later content, right, on
Right.
the timeline.
Yeah, that's when we
So-
actually get out of beta and go into a live Classic Plus.
Were the
Vol- Vol-
furbolgs
Voltec-
teased? in
That would
Azara?
be, speaking of those furbogs, I would like to see them finally do something with those.
That's what Rav said just now. They were
Yeah.
teased. Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
did tease a Shara.
Yeah. The big
But
gate.
That might be
Can
you guys-
PvP though.
That place is such a fucking nothing burger that I forgot.
Dude, that's
it.
my favorite zone. Don't
You
you?
have-
hate
Is
on
it
that?
really?
Don't
Ashara's
worry.
got to be my most hated zone. I
It's the
gotta
worst.
say.
Glorious.
And it
You,
should be
you know how
special.
bad Void is.
Oh. All I do in
It's the-
SOD now is just freaking gold farm out there, and it's not even good gold. That's just because I like being out there.
I
But it
hate
reminds me-
Azara. I love the look of Azara. I hate Azara for how hard it is to get back up if you fall down to the beach.
Oh yeah,
Right.
don't
Quit falling
remind
in
me of it.
holes, putting in
Yeah,
them.
Like,
he just has a
yeah.
problem with this. He has a problem
Yes, I
with this.
do.
Ever
Yes,
since
I
he
do.
got 2 monitors, he just can't keep his eyes on the game.
Nope.
So I guess
King of
our
the
verdict
castle.
is that the best way to move forward would be to have an option for both a 10-player raid and a 20-player raid. I think we can all collectively agree that that would be healthy for the game.
It
If
work-
we're not going to have other difficulties in these raids, a 10 and a 20 would be nice in some way. Different raids,
know
not
what?
the same raid. They drop different loot, maybe,
With this-
or
With this cuddle culture that Sod's,
I mean, the-
embracing, I think they should just have follower dungeons, like follower NPCs
No,
for your-
no,
to,
no.
to fill your pugs,
no.
to fill your pugs, so every Joe
No,
Schmo
dude.
can get in and clear
No,
the
no, no,
content.
No, hey, you want the game to become real? Hey, you want the game to become real toxic? Let them take it to the next phase and introduce flex rating.
Oh,
Oh my
No.
God, the game becomes so toxic.
No.
Oh, we're
But-
gonna go with 15 this time.
but-
We don't feel like
but-
taking
We have
anybody's stars.
15. Perfect.
Yeah.
We don't
We
want
have
to. We don't
15.
want to take a pug. We're
But-
gonna go with 15.
Let's sit here and say, right, there's all these things, and we could pick this apart all day long, all these things that like we think are done wrong or like could be done better, whatever, yada yada yada. But let's just sit here and realize though that at the end of the day, I think that Season of Discovery was and still is just a decent addition to your sub fee, right? Like this is not like, it didn't replace something. We didn't have this before. This like weird experimental, basically it's just like a giant PTR.
Beta.
Yeah.
Dude,
like,
I was playing hardcore before I came here.
Right.
Over and over.
now how sick would it be?
Again and again.
Right. Now how sick would it be if we knew, right, that Season of Discovery was like this massive testing ground in PTR for something bigger, like an actual live Classic Plus?
That would kill it.
It would kill a lot. A lot of the players would log off and be like, all right, I'll just come back when it's done then. But in another way, it would make people sit there and be like, well, this isn't like a full like fleshed out game mode. Like this is literally just an experimental training ground for like
No
what will
one, no
work.
one in WoW community would think like that.
I don't think so.
I don't think they would.
Not even a little bit.
I'd still play. Even if they
Yeah,
told me
that's what I'm
that,
saying. Like
I'm
people would
playing
still
it.
play it. Like, dude, people jump
yeah, but
on
they
like
wouldn't. They wouldn't be nice about it. Like, oh, it's okay because it's a beta. No, they would still be just as angry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that a lot of the Classic player base is very angry. But that's why I'm trying to say, like, this didn't replace something. We didn't lose something to get fucking Season of Discovery. Like, this is just an addition to your sub fee. So with one
true.
sub fee, we could play so many versions of this game, right? And it's like, at some point, you got to sit back and be like, I think people go a little bit too hard with how much they hate on all of this stuff. Like, at the end of the day, you could just play another version of the game, or you could just log off and not play for a month. Like,
Just be happy what you got.
right.
Plus
I-
note
I-
on it, okay? Plus note on it. If they did come out and say that it was a beta and, a bunch of people, I would still play. But knowing that it's a beta, I would also change my play habits a little bit to maybe not, right now I'm investing in Arcanite Bars for early Thunder Fury.
I mean,
I might not give a fuck about Thunder Fury anymore if I know it's not going to matter anyway.
even if it's just a beta, we all know this is just a seasonal
Yeah.
server anyways. Like, it's
Right.
gonna end. But I
That's
think
my
what-
point. And no one has a problem playing it knowing that, right?
I think
Like-
why people are so salty is because they want Classic Plus for so long, and they came out hot out of the gates. Everybody loved Phase 1 and fell in love with this, and then I think as we're seeing more and more go on and the flaws come out, people are just wanting to hate on it more.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not unhappy, but I'm one of those people. Like I'm happy that I got it. I mean, before
Yeah.
this, I was not playing. I got tired of retail a long time ago. Classic, I played a bit, then I burnt out. It was just too much. And this one is okay. I mean, I'm still playing, which is kind of a big thing compared to what was like a year ago or 2 years ago. So for me, it's definitely on up. As opposed, I mean, as for Classic Plus take, whether this is a beta, I think it's more like this is like a matrix. So they reset it every now and then. There's gonna be another one that's called something else, and then maybe Classic Plus, and then we're gonna play as much, and then they reset it Classic Plus Plus, or whatever we call it. This is the infinite cycle. As long as people pay for it, sir.
Right. Yeah. And Blazing Bob is in chat, and he brought up a good point. I could be playing Kata right now. I was in the first round of beta too, but I haven't played it once. I'm on SOD right now too. So like that's my point, is that there's people that like the loud people, right, that are complaining. It makes you
one game.
feel like it's the majority, but is it really the majority? I don't think it is. I think there's more people enjoying it than hating on it.
The
Yeah,
loud
it was on-
minority.
I feel like it's a great game mode.
Yeah.
There's definitely some major issues, but all in all, like this is the most fun I've had playing WoW in a long time.
Right.
It's very.
I'll
smooth
go
first season.
off what Kill to Eat said. Even though it's seasonal, these characters can't ever go into like normal. They can't just transfer them to a classic server.
That's
So, I mean,
what I've wondered. Like, what the hell is
they're-
going to happen to these?
They're
characters?
gonna have their
That's
own
the story.
private realm for their eternity, basically.
Right. Yeah, that's the only way. Like they can't go to Era, or maybe they'll give you a choice. Like, hey, you want to take your character and send it over to Kata Classic or to Era, and then if you go to Era, it erases all your runes and just makes you a level 60, whatever.
You
I don't
lose
know.
all the gear too.
The gear,
I'll
yeah,
go-
maybe you'll be naked.
I think
I'll transfer to Kata. I'll transfer to
I
Kata,
think
but
a
I'm
lot
going
of
with
these
Thunder Fury.
plastic like people on the forums and Reddit, which are just if you're going on there, you're not okay. They get joy out of the hate. They get joy out. Like if this game
Yeah.
was perfect, they wouldn't play.
Right.
They
Exactly.
like to bitch about
Exactly.
something. They need to bitch about something.
Exactly. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is there a million things wrong with it? Absolutely. But are there a million other things that like gave people joy and made people enjoy it? Yeah, of course, dude. That we were all
We're
saying
all
that the first
pressing
few
more
phases
than
we were sat
one.
here. Yeah, we were sitting here saying like this is actually the best thing Blizzard's ever done in God knows how long. Like literally
I was gonna say best thing they've done since 2019 when they did
Right.
Classic.
Exactly. And yeah, Bob just said you love far more than you hate, and I think that is probably the majority of the player base feels that exact way. Think about the people who don't like go on YouTube and watch all the creators hopping on the bandwagon of hating it, or like don't read anything. Like they literally just come home from work, they log in and they play, and they maybe have a small guild, or maybe they're guildless. Like those are the people that are probably enjoying it the most, right? That I feel like is the majority of players. And then like the loud players like complaining on the forums and like commenting on my community posts saying like, oh, like I'll make a post like, hey, what are you doing right now in SOD? Is this good or do you like this better? And they'll be like, SOD's been dead since phase 1. And I'm like, all right, dude, like why did you even take the time to comment that? Like really? Like you clearly care enough that you stopped and read my post and then voted and then commented that. So like it struck a nerve. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
like
having a bad time, so now you're gonna have a bad
right.
time.
Like yeah, I get it. And like you know what? Everyone gets bored. I really haven't been playing that much SOD outside of my 2 raids that I do. But other than that, I know that I'm kind of just waiting for the next phase. Like I'm gonna be all over the next phase. I got Kata. Like we're gonna play Kata. Like it's gonna be fun. And I
play
think
all versions. It's not bad.
yeah, you play every version, including retail. I try retail. I can't. I'm just terrible at retail. I can't do it. I'm just a bad player. But it's like I don't know. I'm just trying to say if there is anyone watching this that is hate watching this, because I'm sure there is, like just fucking chill out, dude. Just chill out. It's a good addition to your sub fee. It wasn't here before. It's not going to be perfect, and like it is fun to an extent. Like whether you fully enjoy it or not, try just logging off a few days a week. Like you'll probably enjoy it more.
Some people have to admit, like some people, we had a couple of friends actively like hated the game but tried so hard to like it still. It's like sometimes you grow out of it.
Yeah.
Do something else.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
Like,
what I'm
there's
saying.
no
Log
problem.
off.
There's no problem with just growing out of something. Just
Yeah.
don't bring everyone down with you.
Exactly. Bob just said another good thing. He said it's like sitting next to someone at work. If you sit next to a positive person, you enjoy your job. But then a new guy comes in and he sits next to you. He's a negative all the time. All of a sudden, you hate your job after 2 weeks. That's very true. I've actually said this on Discord that like if people come in Discord, right, when we're inviting everyone for our raid, and I'm like, all right, everyone got their buffs, consumes, whatever. We're gonna start summoning people, and then you have like 3 people join. They're like, I'm not getting that shit. This shit's too fucking easy. It's like, dude, you're first of all, you're downing the whole thing. I'm here to have fun. I get to do this once a week on this character. I'm ready to pump. Like I want to have a good time. Like just fucking participate. And if you don't want to be here, just say, hey, I'm taking a break. I'm logging off. I'm logging off forever. Whatever it is that you want to do, it's not the end of the world. Like it doesn't have to be your life, and you don't need to love every second of this, and no one is forcing you to play.
I think that's kind of how last raid was.
Yeah,
You
dude,
know,
and
it was not as fun, I think, for
I
a
was
lot
about
of
to say,
people.
last raid, you say we're out here trying to enjoy it, but y'all got me doing 90 in the Prius trying to clear trash like we're on a race for some reason.
Well,
I can't pull trash in my own
yes.
face. I got Shivy and everybody up there grabbing mobs and bringing them back.
All
You
I'm
weren't
saying,
doing it right.
yeah, it's that all I'm saying is that people can bring it down for other people, and that's not right. And maybe Glorious is right, and the 10-man raid scene was better, because when you have 10 people that are all positive and want to be there, it feels good. And it's kind of sad that you can't get 20 people to all feel that way. It's kind of weird, but at the same time, it really does affect everyone's experience. And if you have one creator or anyone make a video, like a video where they're literally just farming hate views, which I have never done and will never do, it's like, that is so much more influential than you realize. Like, that influences a lot of people. To see someone who creates content on the game just make a video completely talking shit.
It's not even just WoW, right? Like, that's a common thing.
It's
that
everything,
people
yeah.
are listening, and people really take, how can I put this? They take others' opinion too seriously. Like, somebody else don't like PvP, then I'm not gonna go PvP. I mean, that's just stupid. Just ignore. Don't even read. Don't even consider it. Do it. Try it yourself and figure it out on your own whether you like it or not. I
Right.
never understood people like, yeah, this sucks. This phase sucks. Did you play it? No. That's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay,
That's what I'm saying, dude. I get Glorious. I get those comments all the time, and I purposely make community posts, kind of trying to fish those comments because I love talking about them in videos, because I think that people are just like, they just severely overreact. Like, people, the classic WoW community is a lot of them are very angry, but very, very passionate. Yeah. It's like the most passionate group of players, right? Because for most of these people,
it's their childhood.
Right. Everyone here, like the majority of everyone playing Classic is over 30, right? It's been a massive part of most of these people's lives. And it like really strikes a nerve when it's like, you're not over 30, dude? You're definitely over 30.
I turned 29 in 2 days.
Are you kidding me, dude?
I'm sorry, buddy.
Jesus, buddy.
That's why y'all are gonna bless me tomorrow.
Oh my God, are you this? You're the second baby in the guild besides Sem.
Me?
I'm younger
Me?
than Puddin'.
Are you really, Shibby?
Well, we're the same age. I just turned 28, and he's about to turn 29.
All right, well, let me rephrase it then. Over 25. Okay, if you're over 25 and playing, it was probably a massive part of your childhood, right? So it makes you super passionate about it.
Skippo's like 24.
Wow, that's
over
24.
Crazy.
Over 24.
All right, over 24.
Over 23.
People just get too passionate, dude, and they don't realize that like it's good like for what it is. And just like, if you really are that burnt out, because 90% of these people trash talking all this shit is burnout, just fucking log off. Just log off a few days a week, go play something else, and I guarantee you in 2 weeks or when the next phase comes, you're going to log in and be super pumped to play. Like, that's just plain and simple what it is, right? Like, I don't... No? You don't think so?
No, I was Pocket Dealer said something.
Oh.
Asked the question.
Pocket Dealer said, do we think the Kara raid loot will make doing the other raids not worth it? Kind of like the current raids make most of the 5-mans not worth it.
No, they're going to tweak
so.
the other raids and stuff. There's probably going to be more loot to go around everywhere, and I think everything's going to be relevant, at least raid-wise.
The thing with Classic is there's a lot of niche items, even in like MC, that you need all the way through
Hodge, all that kind of shit.
SGC. The whole game changes at 60.
Hodge, yes, but now at 60, some of the, it's like the belt of accuracy or whatever. Let me look it up 1 second.
Same thing with Maraudon. Last boss drops this.
Sorry.
I mean,
yeah.
The like same thing as the raid drop, but people keep farming. Who said that is there? They run 100 times, they giving up, and it's 100 times, man. It's like it was you. Sorry about that.
Like, all right,
Iggy,
so like,
we play Alliance. You don't need it. Like,
so like old items like Onslaught Girdle and Band of Acuria from Rag. With those, you think, well, the one's a ring, so it don't count. But like the belt, would you still think that's going to be BIS if they redid all the tier sets when we get to 60 and like Warriors actually have a DPS set to put on?
That's a good question, actually. That does change a lot.
Yeah,
because dude, you're in Nax phase still trying to get Onslaught Girdle from Molten Core.
Mm-hmm.
So that does change a lot.
And, I was about to say, but in Classic, that's what made all the content never, last phase this and stuff. You were constantly going back trying to get niche BIS pieces.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about it.
If they wanted. They can make everything relevant. They just put in like percentage something, prox something. I mean, that's always gonna be like
Shit, for
same
all we
thing or
know, there's gonna be
similar.
reforging. We don't know anything about 60.
Oh God,
They don't know anything about 60.
don't bring reforging into this.
No, no reforging, dude.
Please not.
No,
Please
no
no
reforging.
reforging.
Like at the end of the day, no one knows. They don't even know anything about what's gonna happen at 60. They're
I
fucking
think
wing
that
it.
the big question is how many people developing this thing, right? Because it's possible that there's like 5 people as a side project, and then people like raising expectations like crazy. But it's like it's not gonna be like retail. I think they should just reorganize some of the resources into this kind of classic and
I
just
think 60
create original.
is gonna
I'm,
bring
I'm,
so many
I've got,
people.
Yeah.
I've got hope 60 is going to be lit. I
It
think,
is. I think it is. I think it's going to be the best phase inside. It's going to trump
hyped?
phase 1. Yeah, I think it's going to be fucking fantastic. I really do. I think going into those nostalgic raids with redone mechanics, or even if they didn't redo the mechanics and maybe it was just a little harder and just the gear being different, like being a warrior and being able to actually rock like my might set as DPS, like that's just cool to me.
I like the
I can
I
become
seen like I seen an idea, like someone said it, where like you see how like in retail they data mined it, but they don't know where it's coming from, like the different color tier 2.
Ooh.
I sent you the picture, right?
Yeah.
Of all the different it's not in Dragonflight, but it was data mined.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
like
that's
a
pretty
different like a different recolor for each.
tier
Oh
set.
yeah.
Yeah.
all I know is molten core clear. I get to become the lawgiver.
What?
Yep. The Lawbringer.
The
Lawbringer pudding. The Lawbringer.
I know what it's called. I like to say y'all never seen the Toyota, y'all never seen the Toyota commercial?
No.
Oh my god, hold up.
Yes, I seen it.
Oh my
He's
god.
talking about the old one where they were in a Shara.
Yeah,
and he drives the red Ford.
It's a Toyota.
Okay.
It's for the new Tacoma.
Okay.
So
it's not new. It's
wait a minute. Here's a good
Did you see me lay down the law?
A good comment from Pocket Healer. He said, I don't mean for this to be negative comment, but why do we think Microsoft / Blizzard is only giving Classic 25-ish devs when it's clearly so successful?
Pocket,
26
like
devs cost more.
Because
Pocket, when you're at work and someone's really good at their job, so they do more, right? And then all of a sudden that more becomes part of their job. Like that's what's happening. Like why hire more people when 25 is just enough? Just good enough.
Well, also on that same thing, from the perspective of to play Season of Discovery, it costs $15 a month subscription. You're not having to buy expansion pass or anything like that to justify why they would spend more money on developers for it.
Well, just give us a cash shop. That'll fix
I mean,
it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much put the WoW token. Hey, you put the WoW token in, there better be 1,000 developers on this game.
At gold or GP or whatever, or DKP.
GDKP.
Make the Nomer amount purchasable for $59.95.
and there's a little bit of truth to it. Agron said it himself. A smaller team, you can do a lot of things quicker than you
that's what I was gonna say. Is that I honestly think like yes, a small team sucks in a way,
Bob.
but retail has like 60 people working on it.
600 people.
600? Oh my god. My little
That's
icon
too many
is
people.
blocking. That's a lot of people.
We don't know.
Too many
we don't
people.
know how many people are.
At that point, you got a guy in there developing just blades of grass for the.
Keep in mind that
small army.
when they're saying 600 per people working, that's like includes marketing, sales, support, which doesn't exist, and bunch of other things. It's not just developers, I think. But I mean, also just keep in mind that the retail, I don't play it. Okay, I'm not saying that because I like it, but it's completely original content, right? So completely new maps, new everything, new tier sets, new design, new everything. I mean,
Traveler's log every month.
Brand new things into classic, that would not be classic because that's the idea. So I mean, what would be interesting to answer a question like this is to see how many people actually playing one and the other and how long, and maybe we are stupid and then it's totally worth it to purchase the expansion. That's $50, pay 3 months, and then wait for the next one. coming
Think-
out. And that's
think- all right.
anymore.
For retail
that
at this
was
point.
good.
For retail at this point, think how many money wise. Think how many expansions you've purchased every 2 to 3 years when they come out with a new expansion.
All
Yeah.
You've sunk you've sunk money into their company where they can
Yeah,
justify.
same thing. I think we can call. I mean, I know you guys may not play it, but like I remember last stream, Sam mentioned that he's playing Destiny. Same story, all
Fuck
over again.
Destiny.
It's like
That game is
Destiny
trash.
sucks.
That game is trash.
Destiny sucks.
Throw it in the
Oh,
garbage.
plastic sucks.
Ah,
all
Don't
games
post
garbage.
sucks.
I'm not gonna lie. What is Destiny? Is it a first-person shooter?
Yeah.
What kind of fucking
Dude.
game is it?
It's a video game on the internet. Try it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, just the same thing. They make the money, from the expansions and all that. I think they understand that you're not gonna play after 2
Man.
months.
I'm gonna
it's a
go play
cash-
Rift.
Let me fucking tell you. I was like, man, I should give Destiny another try. I only played like the first 2 expansions. I needed to spend like $450 to play that fucking game.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I looked it up.
they-
What, buying all the
$300.
expansions?
You have to buy everything. You have to buy. There's dungeon packs. Like you have to buy dungeons for like the
It's just-
niche BIS gear. Like to
Can I
get a
say
good,
something?
like to get a certain gun, you need to buy a map pack. But in that
Important.
map pack, you have to buy the expansion for it.
Fuck that.
Important disclaimer here. At that time, Destiny was owned by Activision. Activision, the same Activision that's merged with Blizzard. Just a reminder. Now they're not owned by Activision anymore. They're owned by Microsoft. It's
Ah.
somewhat better, but they are still like not. I think Sony. Sorry. So they are like
Bungie,
let's say
right?
that it's Bungie. It's a finance things as well, but they can still do a good game and make
Yes.
money on it. I mean, they're
Buy
just
one dungeon at a
get-
time.
I mean, Pudding had a comment about, oh, we are only paying $15 per month for this game. I mean,
Jeez, what?
what other game anyone ever, pay $15 per month for the whole year? That's like how much money?
For a little bit longer.
You muted yourself. You
Muted,
yourself.
Glorious.
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 Glorious, you're
You're
muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, rage mute. No, I think Pudding muted me or somebody else. No, I don't know. So it's like it's $180 per year if you play. If you just pay every month $15.
Final Fantasy.
That's like crazy. You can buy a bunch of games from that. So it's it's a question of how much money they want to make on it. So
Right.
but again, they can still make a good game regardless of how much money they make. The two should not be necessarily.
I
Right.
had
If you want to make a lot of money, you don't have to make a good game. That's not how it works. And we've seen what is it called, Diablo. I think that's kind of the good example.
Yeah.
But
This is a
I
good.
had an
This is.
argument.
Go ahead, Cheese.
I had an argument with that with Sal about this because he knows I just play WoW and he's been buying the Final Fantasy VII things and he explained to me. I was like, so you bought like 1/3 of a game because there's like 4 episodes and each is $70.
Oh my God.
I was like, you bought one version of a game, like 1/5 of a game for $70. Yeah, but it's like 50 hours. Like I do that in a week and WoW.
Yeah, that's
$12
kind
a
of
month.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to me,
You
I
can do it
I think
two
the sub fee that we pay, we get a lot of content. Like if you look at all versions of the game, I mean, you really like. If you can't find a single version of WoW to enjoy with your sub fee, like maybe just Warcraft is just straight up, it's not your cup of tea. Yeah.
Not your game.
But this actually is a good segue into like another topic we had on here from a comment that we got on the last Tavern Talk. Do we think that Kata Classic is going to cannibalize the SOD player base? I don't think so.
No.
I think Kata is gonna tank after about 2 months.
Dude, I logged in. It just released today, whatever the pre-patch, and like freaking White Main's only at medium population. There's a bunch of other servers that are
I had
like
a
very
queue on
low.
Benny.
It's like Benny's not even that high. You Q?
I had a queue. Yeah,
I had no Q.
I've been hitting this attack dummy for the past hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to cannibalize the SOD player base.
No.
I think it may temporarily take a few players away until Phase 4 Season of Discovery drops. And then I think by the time Phase 4 Season of Discovery drops, most people will have had their fix of Kata and probably
No.
go right back.
These people are complaining about how hard Sunken Temple is. If they try Kata, like how far they can't run out of there fast enough back to sod.
Yeah.
I think if they do it the right way, it'll be perfect. Where like so far it has been. Like every time something gets a little slow in one version of the game, another version of the game picks up and drops something new.
Yeah.
I think they're doing
Thunderstorm
it
was last
perfect.
phase. That was kind of cool for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like
I
Cat
think
is
that-
gonna be dope for a couple weeks, and then you're gonna go right. And you're like, oh man, I can't wait to go chill in fucking sod.
Yeah.
I think that's the genius, really. That's the genius on this. So the idea is that, like, when you had one game, and then you every sometime you release a content. You cannot release content every month, right? You have to wait
Mhm.
some months at least. But now you have 3 versions, or maybe it's going to be 4 versions. So every couple of months there's going to be release on one version, the other version. You have to keep playing WoW, especially if you like one or the other, even if it's just for a month. I think that's okay, and I think they expect you to actually play some Phase 3, and then switch to the other one, play some Cataclysms, and switch to maybe back to
Mhm.
retail while we are waiting for the next. So I think it's gonna become cannibalizing somewhat the player base.
Yeah.
I think
No, I
yes.
think it complements each other.
Compliment. I mean, yes. So we have to. I don't know. Honestly, the question is: are retail players interested in classic, and are classic players willing to go back to retail? Because that's the version that I'm not sure if I was
I
thinking
think
about it,
if
and I feel
anything-
like I don't want to go back.
If anything, it's gonna take away from the retail player base because this is their classic. Cataclysm is retail classic. It's not vanilla classic. It's retail classic. It's gonna take away from Dragonflight. It's not gonna take away from Sod.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's more crossover between retail and Kata than there is between
Yeah.
classic era Sod and Kata. I mean, it's gonna be, I don't know. Either way, to me, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I hope any version of this fails, but I do think Kata is gonna serve its purpose in that it's going to be there, right, for the next 12 months or whatever, so that when there is a dead time in Sod or a dead time in retail for the people who play retail, there is another version of the game you could jump on and do some like fun raids and do
You
shit
you
like
just
that.
do the fucking you do the betas, the alphas, the gammas, catch up the gear,
Yeah,
do the raid. have
exactly.
fucking
It's just
time.
another quick version of the game. Like you can just jump in and play. We already got the full cadence of like the phases for Kata. Like it's literally Kata's gonna be over by this time next year, which is crazy to think about. So it's super short, which like leads you to believe that, you know, with the Mop remix coming to retail and all that stuff, like what is gonna actually come after Kata, nobody knows. Kind of lines up perfectly, in my opinion, for them to be like this November, be like, hey, all right, so Sod's gonna be coming to an end in like January. Kata's coming to an end in like April of 2025, just to let you guys know. And like Classic Plus or whatever the new season is dropping in May of next year or some shit like that. I could see that happening. That's my personal opinion. Especially with the
Blizzard is not
Mop
gonna watch
remix.
this.
What happened, Glorious?
Hopefully Blizzard is not gonna watch this, but I'm still up for Pandaria Classic, by the way.
Everything's classic.
Yeah.
Everything is. By the time everything releases, it's releasing exactly like 15 years ago or whatever.
Dude,
Exactly.
one day we're gonna-
because next year or whatever is gonna be the time period where like Mop came out after Kata. So it's always gonna be classic. They're just gonna keep going.
One
You're
day
gonna
we're
have Legion Classic in like 5
See,
years.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
You
think
will.
I
You
think
will.
Blizzard knows
it's
that Kata.
generation. It's generational. Like there's people that jumped in to WoW.
Yeah.
In different. They were like every expansion was their first expansion.
Well,
so that's
okay, but
classic.
okay, but even though like if they do go through Mop, what next 3 out of 4 expansions were just absolute trash.
That's what I'm
think
saying.
They
And
can learn from their mistakes.
One day we're gonna be
I don't
playing
think so,
Battle
dude.
for Azeroth
I don't-
They
Classic.
can learn from their mistakes.
I think
They
that
gotta
they're
fix
need
Squad.
they've been going
They
with
can fix
this,
Squad.
and they need
Squad
to
was-
figure a way to end it and transition it into something different and new. And at the end of Kata Classic, which is like everyone is saying, and Bob just said it in chat, that Kata is the beginning of Retail Classic. This would be the time to cut it off and be like, Classic is no more, but Classic is now Plus. Now we have Classic Plus. And that's, I'm
Or-
telling you what I think is going to happen.
Y'all don't want to play. Y'all don't want to play
Or
the
TBC
BFA
era.
Classic?
Great.
What happened?
Good. Good.
Go ahead, Pudding.
TBC era.
I was gonna say y'all. I was gonna say y'all. Y'all ain't looking forward to BFA Classic.
You're gonna have BFA
That's what I'm
classic.
saying.
I will
I think-
bet you right now.
I'll take
Right
that bet,
now.
Cheese. I will bet. What do you want to bet?
You'll have gray hair by the time it comes out, but it's coming out.
Speaking of gray hair, I just pinned a comment here. Drudone said Shibby literally now has the Chad meme haircut. Fuck yeah. I wanted to pin that on here because I loved it so much. So congrats to you, Shibby,
it's
for getting
really
that
cool.
haircut.
Congrats for being a bro.
I need to work on bringing the mohawk back.
He's got
You already brought it. You already brought it back, baby. That and the shell necklace. You're cooking.
But,
Oh,
Dude,
Fuku
but
shit.
Hammer,
Oh, I love it.
Dude, he's got the
What
frosted tips and everything.
I think that
This
they can
dude-
still make something in the
Yeah, I
middle,
grew
by
up
the
with the
way.
NSYNC. Come on.
This dude has a
You
fucking
what?
surfboard next to his fire pit as we speak.
I got my surfboard.
Fuck
actually,
yeah.
I'm joking. It's a snowboard.
Go ahead, Glorious.
Same. It's the same thing, just different circumstances. No, what I think that what you were saying, I think. Well, it's maybe my personal opinion. I like this of Pandaria. So if possible, if that would come out, I would be interested. I'm not interested in Cataclysm because I played Cataclysm. I didn't like it that much. In fact, I liked pretty much every other expansion more than Cataclysm.
Ooh.
But
Is that a
what
Burton?
that's really cool.
Oh.
Burton Love, baby.
Hey, there it is.
But what I really liked, I think what would make sense, Hammer, is if they do what you mentioned, like so that's the end of the Cataclysm. They do something else, like let's say Classic Plus or something. Okay, I don't think so, but and then they take a break, and then they can continue the Classic experience with Mr. Pandora and all that other crap.
Right.
After
What-
that, I don't know after that if somebody's interested. but-
What if they kept going? They didn't change the way the combat and the animations and everything look. You know, like in Legion when it became like full retail with like the stupid human runs and all that shit, like the goofy cartoony era.
Yeah.
What if they just learned from their mistakes and cut everything out and just made all of this classic style? So it still felt like classic, but more content.
I guess, but I think as the expansions go on,
Like they get rid of the stupid shit like that, like the Azerite power and all that nonsense. Like they get rid
But
of
they
that.
have to keep having, again, that we just discussed before, they have to have multiple lanes, like it's multiple parallel games going on for you to play, because whatever content they put in, you're gonna keep playing for a month, and then you're gonna burn out, not either burn out or you're
Right.
just not gonna play, not interested anymore. So I think they're still gonna do it. And in fact, I have an idea for the next or whatever another talk when we're gonna have. We should tier list the expansions for viability of playing or how much we want to play. That's an idea for another time.
yeah, throw it on the sheet, Glorious, under our notes,
Okay.
so we have it for next time.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
But-
BC is an S tier.
BC is S tier.
Overrated.
But I just want to go over that timeline one more time real
Jeez.
quick, because I'm very shocked that none of you agree with me on this. So we got Season of Discovery, right? Okay. We've been in Classic since 2019. We now have Cata Classic, which is just hands down the most controversial release of Classic that we've seen so far, right? Where half of the player base is like, I'm not playing that shit, and then the other half is like, it's really good, trust me. Wrath, we didn't have that problem. BC, we didn't have that problem. Everyone was 100% hyped. Mostly everybody. So you have Cata coming,
Classic players were hyped.
right? But then we have Cata coming out. They gave us the entire time frame of every phase of Cata for some reason, which we didn't have before. You have retail, new expansion coming at the end of the year for the retail players. You also have a Mists of Pandaria remake in retail coming very soon. So why would they then let you play Mists of Pandaria in retail for the next 6 months, and then in 8 months send you to Mist of Pandaria Classic? It just makes
Yeah.
no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Why? Like it just
people-
doesn't.
For people like me and Glorious that want to play Mists of Pandaria Classic, not retail Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah, but you
Yes,
guys aren't
that's
alone.
it.
I would
No,
play
but
that
that's
too.
That's what I was telling you. Remember, I watched it. I was like, oh, there's Drakthir or whatever the fuck those dragons
Okay,
are.
so then here's
in the mop remix. So it's not. It's just like a little taste.
but
Maybe
he-
it'll get the retailers up, like hype
like-
for it.
Then my next question is where then first of all, there's nowhere to go from SOD, right? If we're gonna always have a seasonal WoW and
It's
not
not
get a
blue,
classic
blue.
plus, you literally can't get anything else. That's my point, is that there's Season of Discovery, right? If there's
Season of
always going to be a
it's not a
seasonal
season, I'm
WoW,
telling you
or
right
there's
now.
always going to be Classic, there's always going to be Retail, and we were thinking there's always going to be a season, or if there's not going to be a season, a Classic Plus, right? So if there's going to be another season, which there will be if what you guys are saying is true, right? And they're going to go with Mists of Pandaria Classic.
I don't think Season Discovery's ending.
Yeah, but they mark it's still like they keep every blue post calling it a seasonal server, so it is definitely ending. So
It's definitely not. I will call that.
It is, dude. They wouldn't call it seasonal if it wasn't ending. But like, and if it is seasonal, which they are saying it is, I mean, I guess it could be not if they just decide to go back on that. But if it is seasonal, where do you go with the next season? Do they say, okay, go back to Classic era now? You have no new abilities. You have no, like, it just doesn't make sense. There's nowhere else to go. That's what I'm trying to say. How do you go backwards?
The Burning Crusade.
Hey, real quick, Big
Just give
Grat.
us new stuff.
Big Grat
doesn't have-
to Zuda on his hunter. He just got both fist weapons.
Wow. Are you kidding me? Dude.
We have a cursed run. You need to stop. We need to use someone else's ID.
Oh.
Season of Discovery 2, The Burning Crusade.
I don't think so. I really don't. But
And then like 4 years later, Season of Discovery, Cataclysm.
I think they just go in a new direction, a different type. of
Ravi
Classic
said, I
Plus.
think they're scouting to make sure people still have interest in MOP. That could be true too. I mean, I don't know. I don't believe that a company would develop MOP again for retail and then again for Classic in the next 12 months.
I think Hammer, unfortunately, is probably right.
Yeah, there's no way. From a company perspective, it makes no sense.
Yes, I wish they create a Pandaria Classic, but I have a feeling this is gonna be like the new thing, and we use Pandaria skin to make it happen. And now you got some Pandaria, so you're not gonna want to have
exactly.
Another
That's my point. They're giving you a little bit to be like, we gave you MOP, like you have it, and it just lines up too perfect. Like it really does. It lines up perfect. Like Kata ends this time next year. They could make an announcement this year at BlizzCon, which is canceled, and say, you know, Classic Plus is coming next year in April, as soon as Kata and Season of Discovery end. Like, boom, that's it. It's the perfect segue into something new. They don't have to keep going with Classic, worrying if people are going to play BFA Classic, Shadowlands Classic, all this shit. Like, I don't know. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, so maybe you guys are right, but I just have this weird feeling that that's kind of what this is, and that's why Season of Discovery is so crazy and weird and feels so unbalanced at times, and they're just testing everything to see what would work in Classic Plus. They're like, I will never let this Classic Plus stream die. I think it eventually is coming. There's no doubt in my mind.
Kata Reforged.
Kata, call it Reforged or something.
No, I think you're right with that. Like, it ends at 60, but then like when Classic Plus comes out, it's sod without phases to 60, and then they'll start releasing patches with more like Hyjal and all that other shit.
But they won't let us take our sod characters. It'll have to be fresh, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be fresh, but it's gonna be.
You can keep your gold.
Everything.
You can keep your gold, yeah.
It's gonna be with like it's not gonna be time gated. It's gonna be.
I better start farming now then.
Okay, so I guess let's jump into this. Is our last topic on here, and I feel like this is gonna be a fucking doozy. And we touched on it a little bit earlier. Parse culture, speed runs. How do we feel about all of that in Season of Discovery specifically? I'm not talking about in Wrath and Kata. In Wrath, Kata Classic, that's in my opinion where it really does belong. Again, it works and it's fun, and there's GDKPs, and it's like it's a free for all. You could play whatever you want to do in there and have fun. Do you guys think that parse culture and speed runs is good for the health of Season of Discovery, or do you think that it would be healthier without it?
Terrible.
Without. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can all collectively agree there. But
I hate parses.
We should split. I'm not going. So I think that what is the two? So the parsing,
parse culture and speed
I
running.
think we all agree. Speed running, it depends.
Parse and speed are different.
I guess so. Yeah.
For me, 20 man Sunken Temple is not speed running. Speed running is when you solo Morogdon, for instance. that's a different story. I like that kind of content. I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it to like compare your DPS, just the fact that can you do it. For that, I
I
think
got
I'm
my
happy.
Mara runs down to 6 minutes 30.
So all right, so let's call it parse culture
That's
and
something.
logging. How about that?
No. Because I don't mind that, but I hate speed running.
Yeah, but my point is that you really don't have one without the other, right? The speed runs are a fucking
Speed run.
afterbirth of parses and like people checking logs, right, and logging
When
your
I'm playing
raids.
classic, I want to kick my feet up, throw a blanket on, a little snuggie, get comfortable, chill out with the boys, and raid.
Okay, so yeah, so
Now
you're
everything's
against
like,
it.
we gotta go faster and faster. Literally, one of your fucking pins on our like BFD runs is we gotta go faster. Like I can
get-
scroll up, it says faster,
Right.
faster.
But my point behind that is I agree with you all in saying that I don't think it's healthy for the game. But if it is in the game, I like it. Like I'm gonna do it because if it's in the game, why do I want to be bad at the game? Like that's just my logic at it. Like I don't like if it wasn't an option, I'd be all for sitting here with like a big ass bag of pizza rolls and sit here with a beer and whatever and do the raid. Like if there was nothing being logged, no one could see how bad I did on this fight or that fight. Yeah. And like
3 years ago.
Yeah.
What changed? 3 years ago, everyone was chilling and just doing.
well, no,
anything.
there is a change because now literally people can't even get into raids if people look at their logs and they're like, "Oh, you parsed all like 75s, like we're not taking you." Like and that's my issue is that if it's in the game, most people are going to want to do well and perform well because it's being recorded. If it's not in the game, nobody cares and all of a sudden everyone's kicking back and having fun and having some beers while they're raiding. Like that's my point.
If you're, to me, okay, the way I look at the parse thing is if you just have a parse, I don't care if it's green parses. If you have a parse, you're good enough to come with me. That means you at least have seen all the fights. I ain't got to. Hopefully, I don't have to explain every little minute detail of the raid. I don't necessarily care what people's parses are. I just want them to be competent.
No.
If I come full world buffed and consumes, I'm expecting whoever's in my group to do the same.
Right.
I don't care if we're not going for parses. Just don't waste my time with the effort I put in if you're not going to reciprocate and do the same.
Exactly.
So,
and go ahead, Gloria. Sorry.
I'm gonna have a different take as usual. So, frankly, that was one of the better experiences in the past when I was playing. I mean, not this kind of experience, but like several years ago, when a complete noob joined, okay, and you had to like literally teach them how to play, and that was kind of part of the game, the community building. And yes, you can kick them. That's kind of the current retail, incentive. Like, what is your gear score, whatever it is. What is your DPS? And then if it's not good enough, then we're not gonna play with you. And that's not like a person-focused mentality. So I don't fully agree with that. And I think if they would completely remove, I know it's not gonna happen, but I would love if there would not be DPS meters, there would not be raid logging,
Right.
just absolutely nothing. That would be the real
Yeah.
classic experience.
Yeah, I said that to Cheese last week. I was like, dude, I'm telling you right now, SOD would be a million times more fun for everybody if there were no DPS meters, no fucking add-ons, maybe like some cosmetic stuff like UI changes and stuff like that. That's fine. But no meters, nothing being logged, nothing being ranked. Like, it would really change the experience for a lot of people. Like, and you're 100% right about that, Glorious. I agree, and I think that I love those
do you know
things.
how I know it?
How?
Do you know how I know it? Because I don't know if you guys remember, classic experience during Cataclysm, Star Wars: The Old Republic came out, and that was like there was no add-ons.
Yep.
So you actually get into the game, and people were pretty good by that time. Like Cataclysm was not that long ago, so they were really elite players, like mythic or heroic level. But there was no damage meter, so it was like feeling. There was a few bosses I remember that, like for instance, the group had to split. And then we knew that one boss is going faster, then we have to change some DPS. So we had some idea, but it was not measurable, and it was just awesome.
Yeah,
that was better.
I've got a perspective, or I've got a change on the parsing and everything. You want parses to not matter? Bring back GBids. Then everybody will be
baby.
then everybody will be okay with
Bring them back,
taking
baby, because people are
suboptimal
buying gold
players.
regardless. Don't matter.
Yep.
Bring them back.
Yeah.
You bring back G bids, then you'll a
They-
good parsing group will
Right.
take a bunch of carries.
But here's the thing: we all agree that we think that this is not healthy for the game. But
Yes.
Bob just said in chat, I only parse when drinking beers. I need a challenge. And that's one thing that I always said about this shit too, is that like that is the only challenge, right? Is competing against other players that are playing your class and you're trying to like get higher and higher ranked in your parses, and like that gives you the challenge. Now we all sit here and we're like, oh, Sunken Temple's so easy, this and that, it's a snooze fest, whatever. Like, would we still enjoy it as much without parses? And my answer to that, as much as I love parsing and I love doing like speed runs and all that kind of shit, I think we still would enjoy it as much, if not even more, because if other people aren't doing it either, there's nothing to compete against. We're just there to have fun.
I think they need
SB
to make it more difficult than, like, for
SB
sure,
and
if they
Bob.
took that away.
Both SB and Bob both making a fantastic.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, you won't be able to help people improve. And I get that. It's a weird, it's like a weird thing where like, I don't know, like I personally feel like, again, as much as I love it, I do feel like it's unhealthy for the game. If 90% of the player base is casual players and that's what keeps these things being developed and that's the majority of these sub fees and that's where all of this is going, then like
G-bids are not the lowest of the low.
G-bids is the absolute lowest low.
Nope.
No.
People are still buying gold. People are still buying gold, except now.
Yeah, people are buying a lot of gold
So
right
now
now.
what happens? Now what happens when you hit, like, say you hit 50 on your rogue, fresh rogue. Before you would have, you go into a G bid, you see the content. You get to be in the content, and buy the shit. Now, you're still buying the gold, but now you're buying old BOEs. You're buying cleared Sunken Temples, cleared Gnomers, just so you can get those free crafted gear. You're buying Dark Moon decks. You're buying everything, and you don't even have to step foot in a raid to be BIS.
Right.
At least with G-Bid, you got to go in and play the content.
I know it's quite a bit of off topic, but GBits is GD keep
Correct.
whatever it's
GDKB.
right? Okay. I think that we should look at it two ways. One way, if you just doing it for the gold, or if you're just doing we want a reason to play. And I think GDKP was also a lot of people just a reason to play because they accumulated gold.
Yeah.
They didn't buy much useful things about it. It's just like the fact that's why you're playing. It's just it's not necessarily bad. I'm
It
not
was
saying
fun.
that people should buy gold. It was a
You're
way of
full
playing.
BIS,
It's a
you're
play
pumping in a
style.
raid, you get some
Yep.
gold at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Bob also brought up another good point. I pinned it here for you guys to see. He said, I've been working with one of my best friends who came back for SOD after not playing since OG Wrath. Using his logs, we have brought him from a 12 average parse to last week a 75% parse. And that's a real thing too. Like these things were originally used for that, right? Like to learn how to improve.
Why don't you read that next comment, though, Hammer?
I've watched both Blazing and Hammer, and neither help anyone get better anytime I've watched. Hey, man, I'm here to pump,
in their
dude.
defense, defense, neither of their titles say
Yeah,
learn how to play.
we're not teaching here. We're not teaching here. Bob,
No, I mean, I think it's still an interesting point that, getting better. And I was also, and right now I'm kind of missing training dummies. So I can try to iterate and play, improve my play. But the problem is it's overkill. Like it's currently basically the whole thing is about that. Like a lot of time, not for everyone, but yeah. You can do it the rate, not parse is very good.
Because I don't care too much about parses, but we've looked into mine, and I'm gonna holler at Blaze and Bob for this one.
It says your
The
shotgun build.
The difference between my 99 parse or the difference between the Paladin 99 parse and my parse is about 8,000 gold worth of BOE shit I can go buy.
right.
That is
But
why I
Bob's
don't have a 99.
Bob's not talking about that. I've used parses the same way in Wrath to help.
No.
buddies,
I
'cause, like,
wasn't.
You look at
I
what they're
wasn't.
doing, and you tell them like there's a lot.
Yeah,
of
no,
downtime
I wasn't
between
hating on them. I was just talking about like people expecting you to have 99s. No, I don't expect to have 99 because I'm not spending that gold.
Yeah. So
I got 97s and 99s on the Ret Pally, and I've never gotten Songflower.
I mean, maybe the issue. I mean, I guess really not maybe. Like the issue really is within the player base then themselves, and like because we don't do that either. When we take pugs, sometimes we check logs, and like Pudding said, we just check to make sure they've cleared it. I don't care if you have a 13 on the last boss, as long as you've done it and you've cleared it and know the mechanics. Like that's good enough for us. But
like,
it does fucking ruin it to an extent for a lot of these people trying to get into pugs and all this stuff.
is it the parses or is it the people? Like Bob is using the parses to help people. Other like the WoW community is so toxic, they're using it to alienate.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Parses
I
are
think it's
not
the people.
Same thing with GDKP. The people, the reason it got banned is not because it didn't work, but because people buy gold for money, real money, to actually get into the GDKP to buy up the gear. So people find ways to somehow break the
Glorious.
game. And
Have you seen the rogue that signs up to our raids?
Yeah.
Have you seen his gear?
Yeah, I mean, but so that's the thing. Honestly, I don't care. For me, that's like I don't know about you guys, but for me, it doesn't ruin the experience if he's buying like 8,000 worth of gold worth of gear and then forcing some nice. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
care.
it doesn't. It really
Let's
doesn't
not-
affect us at all. But
Let's not bring up platinum G2G
I don't think
members.
either really affects
Yeah.
people that have guilds.
yeah,
Let's not talk
that's
about that.
right. That is what Cheese just said is like legitimately the
Neither,
main
like,
problem.
I would main raid with you guys, and then when I'm bored because it's a 7-day lockout, I would level a bunch of characters and jump into some G bids, get
Yeah.
some raids in, play some, and just get some gold. While I do it
Exactly.
for my main that I'm raiding with you guys with.
Yeah, the point, I think the entire moral of this whole thing is that this game is way more fun and easier and better to play with people. Like, if you are trying to play solo, just join a guild. Stop trying to pug. You'll have a ton of fun. Even if you join a guild that's not parsing 99s and all this shit, and you guys are just clearing the content in like 2 hours, whatever it is, like, you are going to have a shitload more fun than if you are sitting there alone trying to just
True.
jump in
That's
a
true,
random
Blaze.
pug.
So, like,
You're right about that also.
It's a lot more of a lax atmosphere too. Like you can go in and have nothing expected of you because you're going in to buy some gear,
Right.
and that could just be an alt, like
Yeah.
that you farm gold on a different character till you get him geared, and then he could start making you money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a, I don't know. I think it's good for some reasons, but it needs to be used differently. And that, like, there's nothing they could do about that. That's straight up, like you said, Cheese. That's the fucking player base. Like,
Do you guys think that the general user base or player base cares about parses?
the majority does not.
Unfortunately, it's-
No.
Unfortunately, in SOD, the loudest do.
Yeah, the loudest do. The majority do not.
I will say, for anybody watching, Lone Wolf,
So-
the Tavern is always recruiting if you
So-
get
Our
spot.
tavern is always open.
Glorious. I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
Out of 100 people, only 5 people of that 100 need to be hyper fixated on parses because they're the ones making those 20-man groups. So only 5 out of 100.
Mhm.
Because they're making the groups and they're gonna look at the parses.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I just joined the Dead Guild.
I don't know. It's
I don't know. I mean, but I know that there was another topic. I know the two kind of go hand in hand. But for me, there is a difference between the speed running because maybe we're not talking the same thing. Maybe we have to define it. But there is a different kind of activity. For instance, when Rainy and I, my wife and I, we love to kind of try to clear content that is not made for 2 men with 2 person. And that's kind of, yes, maybe it's not a speed run because the speed is not necessarily the most important, but the point is the challenge. Same with WoW and same with Destiny. And I think that kind of gameplay is interesting and it requires you to use your abilities and it's not toxic. You can create pretty nice content about it. I don't know if so for that reason, I think I like that kind of game style and maximizing your
Different
Yeah.
styles. It's not the speed running. Like I know what you're talking about because I personally love that. That's my cup of tea. Like going in and trying to solo dungeons and like
yeah.
finding paths and doing that's totally
Having a
different.
drink.
The speed running culture is like have all your consumes, have like all these speed pots, cut every corner you can in the raid to make it as quick as possible.
Got it.
I was also. I don't know if
I like Mara runs. I love like on my hunter. I would do DM runs, tribute runs, or like Cedar runs.
realistically
Yeah, like
though, if you, all right, sorry,
Good.
I was
Go
gonna
for
say
it.
realistically, okay, these people that are making these speed run videos and talking about speed runs, they're not even doing it correctly. They're doing so much pre-clearing before they actually go in and do the raid that they can do it in 20 minutes. When if you do a speed run in like my guild from Wrath, to do a Knack speed run, you actually like there was a list. You had to actually kill certain amount of each type of mob while you were in there for it to count in the log of speed running. Now
Like
it's just
like mythics, like how you need to clear a
yeah,
certain amount.
basically like that. You had to clear a certain amount of the trash while you were in there for it to count. These speed runs you're seeing are them going into these. Someone's already
No,
gone in, cleared ads.
They had those rules in Nomer. I don't know. I didn't look into it at Steve, but I know they had those rules in Nomer. You had to clear a certain amount of mobs.
I'm talking off of Sard's like 14-minute clear video. You watch the video, there is no trash in the entire raid, hardly. Like all the arcane nullifiers are gone. All that trash is just non-existent. It's gone. Somebody went.
So maybe I'm just not getting it fully. So when you're saying speedrunners, are you talking about, let's say somebody's doing a
Raid.
bug raid or a
Raid.
guild raid? Bug
No,
raid
no,
or
just
guild?
raid start to finish. How fast?
Yeah, and that's typically a guild activity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're doing true
What you're
speed
talking
runs, that's
about is
gonna be
just
a
like
guild.
farm. You're just talking about like solo farming.
Yeah,
Like
but
you're
so,
talking about like
so,
doing
so
the
then
Mara, like the princess run solos and shit like that.
yeah, and so if they're doing a raid like speed run, I mean, if that's their cup of tea, what is the problem with that? That's not gonna deny anyone else to play with them because that's a specific, very specific type of player, probably 0.5% of the player base or less than that, who is interested in that kind of crap. Or am I wrong?
Where are we at? I was peeing
I
and
mean,
getting a
you're
drink.
not wrong. You're not wrong because it doesn't affect us, but we're not everybody else. Like Cheese was saying about five raid leaders getting 20 mans together. They're gonna compare themselves to these raid leaders are gonna compare themselves to what these speedrunners are doing and
Yeah, no, SB is right. No, that's why I said in Nomer, like you had to clear a certain amount of mobs. Like
So
it's not that they're going in empty. They're just going
Right.
that fast.
Okay.
Like they're
So
pumping.
So basically, this kind of speed running is very much comparable to the parsing. The faster you kill for a certain bosses, the higher rank and whatnot.
Exactly.
That-
That's why earlier I
mean-
was saying they were like kind of the same. They go hand in hand. Like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah,
I was
that's
about
a bit
That's
toxic.
that's the biggest thing of a good parse is how fast did you kill the boss in the first place.
That's your reason you don't have a 99 on.
I mean that is that
No,
too.
no,
It's got to do with our.
because it sucks?
It's kill time 8,000 gold and
The reason Pudding doesn't have a 99 because he's finding all the holes in the game. He's discovering.
yes. And we still do a weird strat for avatar of a car.
I don't know. It's interesting because to me, this is the number one comment that I get on everything that I do. I can make a video completely not even talking about parsing or anything like that. And like my top 10 comments are like, parsing ruins the game. Parsing made me log off. Parsing made me unsub. It's like, dude, like, I don't really understand how to fix this entire situation. Like, even if I was Blizzard and I could make a call right now and be like, this is how we fix it, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea how to fix it.
Well, that's just the people watching your video, but like the people watching your video are not people that are, doing speedruns and shit because they don't need the info you're providing.
Yeah, that's true. But
that's
I mean,
why you're not getting those comments from. Like that's why you're getting those comments instead of like other ones.
Right. But I don't know. I mean, I
Like,
guess
I don't-
there's really no. I mean, there's no middle ground. It's either here in full swing or it's not in the game, right?
Yeah, like I can't see like speedrunners and shit commenting on people's like fucking YouTubes. Like they're just doing their own thing. They don't
I'm about
really.
to say they got their
Yeah.
own
look up-
private.
Yeah, they don't look up videos and guides.
They got their own. Yeah, they're in their own private Discord talking to themselves like
Yeah,
a full time
so that-
job.
Like you're getting a different part of the community.
Yeah, I mean that is
I don't
very,
want to-
very true.
I don't want to again bring up Phase One with nostalgia, like it was like 2 years, 10 years ago. But I remember Phase One when I was playing with my rogue, getting into a raid was like, "Do you have?" The guy whispered me, "Do you have gear?" I was like, "Yeah." That was the thing, right? And parsing. I mean, who cared? I mean, do you have kick, the ability with rogue? Yes. Then you're invited. Good luck. And
Yeah.
maybe in Sunken Temple it's just that much harder. That I don't know.
I
You have to start checking like people get the basic.
I mean, think about it in terms of this: going from TBC Classic to Wrath Classic. Like, does everyone remember the massive change? Like immediately, like when gear score became a thing. Like it really
Yeah.
wasn't a thing in TBC, and then all of a sudden, in like all you had to do in TBC was like be like,
I'd
hey,
give you
invite,
Shadowlands if you wanted, Drew.
and then like you would
really
I would
want.
link someone like my DST, and they'd be like instantly invite me. That's all I would do. No checking logs, none of that shit. And then when Wrath Classic came out, it was instantly all about gear score, like literally like that. Snap your fingers, and everything changed.
Yeah, I never
Oh.
raided in TBC. I just PvP'd only, but on occasion when I would want to, like it was no issue getting into a raid. And then like in Wrath, after I died in hardcore, I just went back to play a little bit and I farmed up to like 5.5k gear score or a little over. And I didn't have logs because I hadn't been raided on that tune. And I could not get into a raid. And people are asking for it. And I sent them my
Now,
like,
why do you
100
think that
logs
is,
from
Shippy?
Old
Like,
War.
I don't know why that is. Why did TBC to Wrath, why does that jump change so fucking drastically where
It's
people
just 'cause
care
it was
so much?
I think more people got introduced to it.
You said why
it's
the
just-
change?
What-
from
Yeah, like
Wrath to
why
Wrath?
why did gear score
Because-
matter in Wrath but not in TBC?
Because Nax would have higher gear score than MC, but some of your bis is from MC, as opposed to the other ones where it's next raid is better gear. All of
But
it.
isn't so?
Yeah.
Fundamentally, gear score is just like a system to kind of try to validate whether the person can do the raid in a timely manner or not. They do the mechanism and all that. While I think in BC the raids were generally easier compared to Wrath, and then that as a reason, like you had to kind of start checking people because the basic was not it increased. Probably
Yeah.
that's why, right?
Dude,
I remember I was playing in Wrath in not classic but the original, and gear score was a big thing, and it was because of the gear check. Without the gear, you couldn't kill certain bosses in IC or whatever.
Well,
I still don't like it. I think it's a stupid shit, but that's
yeah,
all
I
it is.
mean, in TBC, the day I hit 70 on my shaman, I was gonna go. We were in the Quillfing Reservoir, and I was gonna run a normal, whatever that 70
SCC.
dungeon. No,
Serpent
the
Shrine Cavern?
dungeon. No, the
Flame
dungeon.
Fence.
Yeah, so
No, the like
Oh,
high,
yeah, yeah,
high
yeah,
level
yeah, yeah,
61,
yeah, yeah.
whatever that was
Steam
called.
Vaults.
Yeah, so we're there summoning our group, and then I get a whisper from somebody is like, "Do you want to come run SEC with us?" And I'm like, "Dude, I just hit 70. I'm all greens." He's like, "Do you know how to put down a totem?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, leave your group. We'll
Sounds
my
get you out of
God.
that crappy dungeon, and we'll get you into SEC."
Yeah,
or
see,
SEC."
that to me is where it changed in this version of Classic as well. Like going from vanilla, where there was like minimal gatekeeping, to TBC, where there was very minimal gatekeeping. I would argue even less than Classic 2019 vanilla.
In TBC, I went into a Kara bit at 68 and got all my gear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
And then
six-
in
that's
Wrath, bro,
68.
people are like, no, you cannot come to TOGC with
Yeah, I think-
5K gear score. Like you're not allowed in here. And it's like, what do you mean? If I had over that, I wouldn't even want to be in here.
Yeah,
As we summarize it, harder content equals more gatekeeping. It's kind of it. I mean, it's still a kind of a stupid way because just because you have a good gear doesn't mean that you can actually play the game. But then how can you check whether somebody can play the game? You cannot. So it's just more like a lower chance of failure if you have somebody geared up.
Right.
Because they probably
I mean, that would
likely.
go in your favor of the whole G-bids thing. Because with G-bids, you can buy all your gear and inflate your
I
gear
think-
score and
Right.
it'd be trash.
overall, that's probably still worse.
Thank you,
without,
J Beads.
you know, not having it than having it with all the gold selling things still. The gold selling is not gonna stop probably ever. So they might as well just put it back, make it a bit more friendly, the content for bugs and the alts and all that. And I think, yeah, I agree. I mean, I was also playing in phase one, like Rogue and Druid, because I knew I could get into the raid, and right now it's just not as easy.
Yep.
So yeah,
All right, so we I guess we've determined that
Druid-
it is
Druid-
both toxic
Druid
and
and-
good for the game. For
Drew's
parsing,
100% right on that.
being a
Man,
You
shaman.
wouldn't go in
Think-
naked in TBC if you were a shaman and just
Yeah.
get into a raid.
Hey, I was
Hey,
just sharing a
think-
true example. Like I
Think of it-
literally got stolen out of my little dungeon group in full greens just because I had a totem. Like
Yeah, then
Okay.
that should
yeah,
happen.
that's not gonna
Right.
happen in Wrath though. Come
Think
on.
think of parsing like a prescription drug. Used correctly, it's a benefit. Use it wrong, you got addicts running all over the place.
That's true. Yeah, it is. And then so we got one last pretty big topic to bring up, which is literally the title of the stream. What do we need in phase 4? This is going to be a pretty big one.
oh,
So what do we think we need phase 4 Season of Discovery to bring to the table for it to be the fucking end all be all best phase Season of Discovery, best classic experience that we've ever experienced ever in the history of experiencing the classic experience?
Halfway
what do we
decent PvP.
Halfway decent PvP.
Arenas,
Arenas.
Oh, yes, arenas.
arenas, or a dual island. Or
Yes,
something.
the island.
Some Ajara PvP.
The
A
dual
pack.
island, I think, is just prime, like non-ranked arenas, right? We don't want ranked arenas because that's going
Oh,
to
I
turn it
do.
into a sweaty. I know, but think about what's going to happen if it turns into ranked arenas. We're going to have like 40% resilience buffs, all that crazy shit. That's the problem with that, in my
I
opinion.
don't think we need resilience. We just
A
it's-
paladin with avenging wrath and thunder fury.
But think about it like this, right? There is literally PvP is not even ranked in this game at all. It is just a currency that you can farm, even if you
That
are
is true.
absolutely.
We need Rav at 16.
You could be the worst player in the world and farm honor ranks. You don't even need to know how to hit your buttons, right? Now, if you introduced ranked PvP, now keep in mind, with it being that simple to rank up in PvP, people are really, really upset about the PvP in SOD. Now imagine if you added a ranked PvP system to SOD. How insanely angry people would be about like one-shotting this. I'm getting stun locked for more than 6 seconds. There's no counterplay. Like it would just be a nightmare, I think, personally.
I'm gonna
probably
say
like have an
with the-
aneurysm, but I would have a good time
with,
for that.
with the whole
Alright.
the whole rogue. I've been stun locked for 6 seconds. That ain't even a big deal. I remember in classic being locked down for a
6
good.
seconds is
What-
just one of their cooldowns.
Yeah,
you play a
I remember-
paladin. Shut
I don't know.
up.
I remember being locked down for 12 to 15 seconds, sometimes more. It's the whole the problem with y'all saying these 6-second lockdowns are too much is because of how much
No.
damage they're also doing at the same time.
I have a hot take.
Let's hear it.
Well, not really. 60 doesn't need anything. It's going to be amazing regardless.
I agree. I honestly agree.
They
E-
don't need
e-
they don't need to add much. That ships on sale at 160.
So-
as long as they phase the content, don't give it all
yeah,
at
if they
once.
phase it, if they phase it another 4 phases with that, we're good.
Then yeah, we're good.
but then they need to make it in a way that it's either 3-day reset or they have at least 2 or 3 raids, two raids, let's say in parallel, because it's just not enough content otherwise. No,
You'll
We
have
agree on
2.
that.
You'll have 2 at least.
I think too. Yeah.
Whi-
For
which
You'll
two?
have 2. You'll have Oni and MC.
You
And the biggest thing they can do is what they fucked up in all the other phases after 1 was your pre-bis current phase is your bis last phase.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think that's
Yeah.
why you're seeing spellcasters dropping on the meters because they tune down a lot of the gear where it's only like 3 more spell power, 4 more spell power on
Yeah.
gear. They cut it down a lot.
But
So
I
that-
think it was on
you're gonna
purpose.
have to. Yeah, they
Dude,
did it on purpose.
It was on purpose so that it doesn't become
Yeah.
beast instantly a level 60
Yep.
as well, because so I think I
It
think
was
this is all right.
100% done on purpose.
But I think like I agree with that take, because I think what classic really needs is just the basic stuff and that's done right, instead of putting in Azerite and whatever it was, some special legendary form. And I don't know, there is a lot of bullshit in retail that they kept adding to the game that was interesting for 2 weeks, and then no, I think the classic experience should be raiding and dungeon. And PvP,
So-
okay, for Shibi. That only for Shibi. Anyone
Yeah,
else?
we get
not gonna-
Alterac Valley. I'm psyched for that.
Alterac
Wait, I
Valley-
can't wait. I can't wait to AFK in a tower all night.
Cheese, I got a
Yeah,
question for you. I got a question for you, Cheese, because you play a priest. All right, what is
Glorious
your
Whispers.
okay? Y'all both play
Glorious,
Shadow.
glorious.
Yeah, y'all both play Shadow. Okay. As of right now, what is y'all's spell power? What is y'all's best weapons spell power?
How many
30?
spell powers the beast?
Well, you
weapon?
have it, right?
Like,
You
yeah,
have
how
it.
much
You got
spell
the
power-
dagger.
If you go dagger offhand, it's about 40.
Yes.
Okay.
No, for me, that's okay. Just like
Well, all right. So right now,
it's 50, actually.
right now, just looking at old
About
molten
tree
core,
50.
old molten core loot. You get anathema as a shadow priest,
This is like the
unbuffed,
7th.
Shadow Priest.
Yeah. Unchanged at all right now. Anathema gives 69. So I mean, the gear the gear comes online 106 healing power just from benediction. I mean, even if they don't make changes to the gear,
Yeah, it's still
Benediction
stronger.
yeah, it's so much
not gonna
stronger
be
than
like your
what y'all
everyday
got right
loot.
now.
It's not gonna drop. I mean, remember in the first 2 raids, I haven't seen any epics. I mean, okay, I've seen one that Chibi took, and then no one else. No one else.
Yeah, you had to throw that
Oh,
in there, dude.
It's- I mean,
Well,
People don't forget
and
it.
then
I was gonna say with
So
Eye of
more than
Divinity,
four-
Eye of Divinity is a 50% drop every raid. So I mean, a priest
Not
should
my
get
raid.
that. A priest should get that
yeah, I
relatively
think
soon.
I'm finally in this phase. I'm in the good position because really that offhand is super strong. Total 50 spell power from the offhand mayhem, so I'm gonna be kind of ready. Honestly, if I was in full green, I could probably do Molten Core regardless. There is not likely that they're gonna do a DPS check or a heal check or whatever. But anyway, that's another.
I'm at
that's
about-
another story.
Fully world buffed and consumed 500 and something spell power.
Jesus.
Yes, it's insane. The verb buffs and all the buffs, it's almost doubles your spell power. It's just it's a bit too much. I think I hope they're not gonna have that.
I think the only thing they need to do at 60, besides leave everything alone, is like
Get rid of
Is-
world buffs.
no, it's
They did
No,
that with
dude,
season-
come
they did that
on,
with-
man.
that ruined a lot.
I was about to say they
But
did that
make-
with Season of Mastery, and it was awful.
Yeah, make like I don't know, you guys like what is your iconic classic thing? Like what is the thing from classic? Is it the leveling? Is it the raids? What is it that you guys like the most?
Like just vanilla
Yeah, just in classic WoW.
leveling
What stands
Leveling.
out the most to you?
World PvP.
Leveling.
or world
Ogres.
PvP. Yeah, one of those two.
Mine is
No,
World
it-
PvP.
It's not that pre-raid.
Oh, well,
bronze
yeah,
and
yeah.
60.
Okay, yeah,
That's a
yeah.
good
Like
point,
you gotta
yes.
go, you gotta get your fucking swords.
Like-
You got
Yes.
like you're hitting
Mine
strat,
fits
you're
then.
hitting
Okay, I said
solo,
Ubers.
You're
I
hitting
said-
Ubers,
Yeah,
lower BlackRock. Like that is what they
that
need
hits the
to-
spot. Yep.
They need to emphasize and make sure that that's not gone.
Yeah. Doing your Oni attune, farming your
Yeah.
Hodge, all
They
of that
need
shit
to make
is
sure
really,
that
really
those
fun.
dungeons aren't irrelevant like all the other dungeons in previous phases. They
Yeah.
need to make sure that that's still there.
Season of Mastery, I would host about 15. When I was playing, I'd host about 15 Ubers a day, just because one, I like the dungeon. Two, my character was already all bis ready to go for Molten Core. I just liked helping other people gear up that weren't doing Ubers. That's one of my favorite dungeons.
Yeah.
Or-
I mean,
It
they
is.
Have, they have to buff that gear or change it something. Because I mean, like even
Yeah.
the AB exalted like staff or whatever isn't really better than the one I've got.
Yeah. They're going to
So,
need to change it
there's-
all because,
yeah.
like, think about, like, any of the iconic things that you're farming those dungeons for, anything like the Dalrens, swords, all that shit is, like, it's going to be completely useless coming from the Sunken Temple raid gear. So, like, and that is, like G said, that's, like, iconic. That makes you feel like, oh, I'm playing Classic now. Like, this is real life. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That so that trumps it for me. That trumps World
Yeah.
PvP. World PvP
That
has always
needs
been
to
one of
be-
my favorite
like-
things, but
Like, think about like how like you're a warrior. Those shoulders.
yeah,
How long did it take you to get those? And then you wore those shoulders into BWL and everything else
Yeah.
because like they need to make sure that that part stays alive. Like, and then people are like grinding those dungeons.
right.
Well, like a lot of this like crafted gear that was pre-bis or whatever for 60, it doesn't hold a torch to ST gear.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, but then again, like what you just said, you wear those into BWL, all that stuff. This goes back to what I was trying to say earlier, where like nobody knows what's happening and on what time frame. So like, who is gonna spend a month and a half farming those shoulders when literally Blizzard can come out in 2 months and say, oh, by the way, Season of Discovery is ending, and like your characters are just gonna go to this permanent realm, and you're probably never gonna play them again.
That's true.
That's my point with that, is that these farms and all that shit were so like classic and so
But, like,
fun because
by,
you
like-
knew you were building a character.
But by P3, you already knew fucking TBC was coming out.
Right. That's true, I guess, yeah.
Right? You still farmed it.
Yeah, yeah. But you were taking your character into TBC,
We do.
right? Like if
I think, in summary, because we are stupid and addicted, you're gonna play anyway, whatever they do with level 60.
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna
I'm
play
going on a
regardless. Yeah.
fucking-
That's the other
They
thing.
could literally tell me if
I'm
you
not-
log in, a bird is gonna shit on your head every single day that you log into this game, and I will still
Yep.
play.
Azerite, legendary weapons.
I'd brag about
legendary
how many
spells.
times that bird shit on my head.
I think
Be
I
number
think
one
that
on that DPS.
overall, I don't know. I agree that like they should make it
Oh,
more
crap.
classic as opposed to brand new stuff. Arena, again, some people agree, some people disagree,
His shit
and then
froze.
Chibi took that personally.
His screen froze.
Shippy,
I
where'd you
couldn't tell
go?
if I couldn't tell if his screen froze because he never moves.
Yeah, he said, "Oh crap," and then
For
Yeah,
60,
At
I
the
d-
end of
I-
the day, people are gonna play this game regardless. They're gonna hate play it.
I would like
guess,
to
yeah.
see I would like to see a good positive change to professions at
Paladin.
60. Nah, yeah. I mean, there's a few buffs I'd like to see for paladins, but it's whatever. I play tank anyway; it don't matter to me. But I want there to be a purpose for me leveling my blacksmithing to 300. Because so far, this whole thing has let me down on the crafted gear is only for your specific person, which
Right.
is fine. It worked in that whole setup worked in TBC when you were
Child.
constantly upgrading the same piece.
I think like MC and all that shit, they'll increase the
Yeah.
hell. Like I don't think they'll change mechanics. They might,
They might add a little bit.
but I think they'll
But-
just do
What goes-
like 25 to 50% more health.
I
'cause, like-
don't even know what they did in SOD with it, because like I literally rated Zul'Gurub, Assam, yeah. I rated ZG once with like you and Matt, and then I logged off of Sam forever, and then I never played again. But I don't know. I don't even know what Molten Core was like in Sam or anything like that.
Hard as fuck.
Really?
No world buffs.
Was it only
No.
hard because you were Horde, and Horde is
Yes,
Just
well,
dog
Only
shit.
hard because there was no world buffs.
no world buffs. I was Horde. If you played Alliance, you basically Alliance basically had a mini world buff with kings. Okay,
Yep.
Horde. Horde, all you had was no world buffs and Wind Fury, and so as the tank in that, I was trying to tank in that too as Fury proc. One, the mobs hit way harder than they used to. Two, everybody else does so much damage because of Wind Fury that I was never able to hold threat.
That makes sense.
It was
I'm gonna say that I think that increasing the health of Molten Core bosses and trash and stuff, in my opinion, isn't enough. Just because of how powerful we are right now. Literally, if that's all they did, we can go clear Molten Core right now at level 50. And I don't think that'll be enough. I think they need to add at least some more mechanics. They can be easy or whatever, you know what I mean? But there needs to be a little bit more to the raid, because it wouldn't feel good going from Sunken Temple, which, as easy as we say it is, it's fun and there are more mechanics in Sunken Temple than Molten Core, right? So how would we go from that to a less epic experience?
I think they're gonna rework it. I think they're gonna rework all the bosses same way.
Well, I was gonna say, I didn't go past Molten Core as far as Season of Mastery goes because of shit I had going on. But Molten Core wise of Season of Mastery, they had some mechanics in there that was, new, very new.
Or weren't they? They were mechanics that they originally had in the game or something, and they took them out on launch.
They took them out on launch because they were deemed too hard at the time.
Right. Which at the time they probably would have been.
Yeah. Which fight is it? I know.
I mean, either way, like she said, whatever they do, people are going to play it and people are going to enjoy it. For how long is to be determined on how good it is, right? Obviously. Even Sunken Temple, like I know a lot of people are bored with SOD right now, but I still look forward to our raids every week. Like I enjoy it. I really love going in there and pumping, but as much as I can't stand playing Warrior this phase. But I think
if it was 3 days, it'd be so cool.
I like going into ours simply because Rick's over there. I'm not even using the right runes. I've been wrong this whole time.
Well, Mr. Rickster sent us the best video in the world this morning. The best video in the world.
It was pretty good.
The video is he has a bunch of thank you for reporting things. In the same mailbox is thousands of
It was like he showed us like the message that said thank you for reporting, and then under it he was just going, he's like, yeah, I'm just happy I'm making the game a better place, as he's like accepting hundreds of gold over and over and over again. I was like, oh my god, dude.
It was the best. It's a certified.
It was pretty hilarious to wake up to him.
It went right on my computer.
But yeah, I think we're gonna get some good stuff coming, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about this again next week. And Blazing Bob just said on Discord that he's gonna come on the show next week. I know Alan wants to come on. Any of you guys are more than welcome to come on, so it might be a huge tavern talk. But I do think we should try and wrap it up because we're doing that thing again where we go over 2 hours. So
I haven't even talked about what I wanted to talk about.
What do you want to talk about, Billy? Go ahead.
Speak your mind. Open time right now.
No, he's just a classic player, just crying about something that.
Jeez,
whatever it is.
At this moment, what are you gonna main for Phase 4?
They haven't said what's best yet.
Oh, this is true.
If they named what was best, why would we pick them the worst too?
That's true. He does pick the worst
I pick
of the mediocres
every time. You guys just can't grasp the fact you can have more than one main, Mr. 72 days on one fucking character.
It ain't that fucking hard.
But
31.
I don't think either of those are actually bad. I mean, Shibi is doing the same DPS. The healer druid is the same. Not anything better or worse. Just
I play with what looks like more fun. Like Paladin and P2
I can get behind that.
Look fun to me. Paladin and
Shaman.
look fun.
Shaman looks fun. One shot fun. That sounds fun.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I wish that I didn't play Warrior the last two phases.
Like
but
Paladin, like Hammer was telling me, oh look at Paladin's gonna get buffed soon. I was like, their P2 runes don't look fun. Like I get Mind Spike, that's fun. And then I looked at like P3, I was like, I get behind Paladin.
Wow,
like I don't really want to waste 3 globals buffing everyone else's DPS on my priest.
Yeah.
But then I played Paladin and I was like, only priest feels fun to me. Like
even though we run the same exact spec of 30 red, 11 holy, doing it as a tank with the one-hander and using Hammer of Righteous,
because you have
feels so much better. It feels so much better than two-handed red. Oh,
yeah. Bro, I don't get a crit, and I'm just a classic Paladin again.
If Warriors don't get anything cool next phase,
You're not going to get
switching.
anything cool. You're not getting anything flashy. You're just going to get 15% more damage to
I'm so sick of it, dude. Because
you had like 7 buttons in your rotation in Classic, while every other class had 1. You're not getting anything else.
I know.
Hey, maybe next phase you'll at least have bloodthirst.
Yeah, we will. We'll
Okay,
at least have
thanks.
bloodthirst. We'll have bloodthirst because
You
just
guys-
because
you
of
guys
talent
already-
points.
For me, you guys already
You
ruined
know what you're
Warrior.
gonna get?
That was
Wait, do you
Warrior
already
Main,
have it? 2
and
charges
everyone
of
is
fucking.
crying about it.
What did you say, Glorious?
That you guys ruined Warrior for me because I was going to actually level up my
Oh,
I love my
character
warrior
who's
muscle man.
dinner, but then I was like, everyone is so much crying about, especially Fury, because I
Bro.
love Fury more than
Yep.
Worms. I haven't even
Glorious.
get it because that's the verse when you are rage starved. That's like feels bad, man.
Yeah.
It's like not good.
Yeah.
Glorious, have you ever noticed Hammer cries from the top of the meters about how bad warriors are?
yeah. I'm not crying. I'm not saying it's
like the
bad.
Dave Chappelle meme with the fucking money all in his face crying.
Yeah, but that's my argument is that
it
it's.
doesn't feel good.
I'm not saying it's bad, dude. I'm not saying it's bad.
I get to
I'm
press a
saying it's
bunch of
not
buttons and
fun
do the
to
same
play
damage you did
in
P2.
SOD. I switched
say
to
that-
playing my Horde Rogue, and it felt like I was playing SOD for the first time. That's all I'm saying. Like, I had new
Wow,
abilities, all
Warrior-
this shit.
A warrior switched because he's 4th in DPS and parses
No,
to the
dude.
number 1.
I know I pump.
To the number 1.
Yeah,
switch
but
to
there is a
Rogue.
difference.
There's a difference.
Just
Yeah, if
to
you
play
switch to if you switch to like an Ellie Shaman, you're like, wow, this is really fun in raid. I'd be like,
Yeah,
all
but
right. But you
for
switch to
the
the number
record-
1 DPS of the phase.
But for the record, I know this is complete off-topic, Hammer, so sorry about it. But I don't. It's not about the DPS on the ranking because again, we just discussed like an hour ago that doesn't matter anything. It's about the play style. I like the warrior that you can switch between targets and hit very fast, and you use your abilities and zag. Basically the ultimate alliance zag is the warrior. That was the experience for me in the past, and
Yeah.
right now I heard that it's not like that.
It's
I
not
didn't
like
try
that.
it.
Nope. It's
not.
manage. It's watch your rage.
It's not.
Play
Yeah,
the
it's a,
mini
it's
game.
a
Yeah.
whack ass dance.
Yeah, it's just not fun. That's all I'm saying. And like, if we don't get anything cool, I am gonna switch my main for last phase. I'm gonna go Red Pally, fully Red Pally. So
Oh, I'm so sorry for
You're
your
gonna-
loss.
I don't
You're
care.
not
I don't
like
care if
that.
I'm
You're
top or not.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
no,
will.
I don't.
Yeah, you will.
I don't.
Yeah, you will.
Wait. You're
Hammer,
gonna
actually,
you're gonna actually finish leveling your paladin finally?
I will. Yeah. If we're not getting anything
Hammer.
cool, I'm switching to my Pally.
Here's
You
the
better-
thing,
I mean,
man.
seriously, why are you
Warriors-
not playing Rogue?
I
Rogue
do
is
want to
not
play
Warrior
Rogue.
main.
I should play Rogue. Yeah.
Warrior mains do
I
not
mean-
switch to any other class that's not rogue or mage. They don't do it. It's just not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'd probably switch to Rogue before Paladin, to be completely
You're right.
honest.
Warrior mains in classic will not switch to anything that's not.
Hammer, make another feral druid. We need more feral druids.
No, God,
Yeah,
no,
we need
dude.
more
No
wild strike.
way. I would play
Y'all had-
Boomkin before Feral, to be honest.
Boomkin
Last-
looks like the most fun.
It is. It looks
Last-
really fun.
Last raid, y'all had me outside of the Wind Fury group because y'all wanted the fucking Hunter's True Shot Or. Y'all fucked me completely.
Of
that
course,
raid.
dude. We need it.
Selfish.
Hey,
Selfish.
You're a tank. You're a tank.
Dude,
I still need Wind
Glorious.
Fury.
Rainey hits me up at the beginning of every raid and is like, I need to be in the True Shot Aura group. I was like, okay,
Yes.
fine. The first raid, I was like, there's no room, damn. And then the second raid, I was like, I got you right now. I hit up Ryan Ross. I was like, yo, you need to go marksman for this raid. Because Rainey is going to kill me if you don't.
Wait. I'll tell you better. She just realized that. She asked for that last raid, but then there was no warrior in her group. So there was still missing one buff. So it's like nullifying
Yeah,
the whole program. But you're
It's
getting
tough.
there.
Yeah, it is. It's
I
hard.
have a question. Is Rainy sweatier in this game than you are?
From DPS perspective,
Yeah.
probably yes.
All right, so in our raid comp, is Zuda the only feral druid we have? Like that's the only feral group?
No, we had
yeah.
Espen, Zoink's friend, but he never came back after the second week. So
Because
I don't know.
I guess we're getting doomed to go back.
tomorrow, I was about to say tomorrow, I better be in a Wind Fury group.
If only we were on Horde, where we didn't need.
Yeah, just drop a total.
yeah. Well, I tried to get
DPS
you all to
battle.
re-roll to Horde in this phase, and no one wanted to
I have
join
a
me. So
40. I have a 50 shaman with all the runes and everything else.
They don't. I've got a 49 rogue, but it's not a paladin, so I don't want to play it.
What are you guys doing in Horde? Like, 20
Nothing.
shamans, or what is the raid?
I'm a rogue. I have an undead rogue on Horde.
I've
So
got
you
an undead rogue.
19 shamans and a rogue.
I mean, you only need 19 shamans.
Yeah, we could
Like,
do. We
think
could do
about
a
it like
full
that.
shaman raid.
Do an ST run with fucking 20 paladins and then 20 shamans and see which
I
one
mean,
goes back.
overall,
I want to do
there's
that. Like,
another. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just what kind of going off what
What's
she
your
said.
shirt say?
Red dirt. What?
It's just fun.
But no, next phase or at the end of this phase, like one of these raids towards the end, I want to go once we're all full bist and not really raiding together. I will make a 20-man pally group just to see how hard it is.
It's probably doable.
I'll give you 100 gold if you finish it in less than an hour and a half.
I mean,
20
I'm gonna need
paladins?
20 paladins.
That's a
I'm gonna need
lot of divine storms, dude.
No one uses Divine Storm Pop.
Nope,
Really?
no one uses
They
it.
haven't used it since P1.
Really? Well, you would need
No
to
one
if you were
uses-
doing Sunken Temple, right?
Nope.
How the hell would you do Aranicus?
Nope. What? No.
Every single paladin.
If the whole
should
group
have.
was paladins, you would need AoE, right?
Nope. Every single
All the
alright, so
DPS would be one hand and shields using righteousness.
everybody would use Hammer of Righteousness, and also every paladin build goes 11 into holy at least to get consecration. So you'd have 20 consecrations dropping all
Oh
the
my
time.
god, that's huge, yeah. And
so it might
critting.
actually be it might be doable.
One-handed pallies like are outperforming.
That's kind of crazy. That's actually crazy, yeah.
It's
So
3 times weapon damage. It's insane.
It might be doable. 20-man paladin group, just 20 consecrations and Hammer of Righteousness at the same time.
I just
Oh.
don't think you beat shamans
Sounds awful.
ever. Not even a chance.
Oh no, we still wouldn't come close to shamans, but you know.
I'm happy to play a niche class. Like a warrior is becoming a niche class.
Yeah.
It really
Awesome.
is. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's
That's such a good take. It really is. The future is now, old man. Drop it.
it sucks, dude.
Drop the warrior. The
It
future
really
is now.
sucks. As not fun as it is.
You want to play a fun and engaging class that's melee? Play a fucking shaman. Play a.
I mean, Rogue, I'm enjoying Rogue a lot. It's 2 buttons, but
I
it's
think
really
Rogue is
fucking
fun.
fun.
Never mind. I just thought of where the paladin won't work and the shaman group would.
Where?
Jamalin, when I have to go hard mode and we can't dispel.
Yeah,
his buffalo.
imagine 20 pallies against that and 20 shamans.
20 shamans, they can purge that shit off instantly.
Yeah,
It'd be done.
exactly.
See, Drew, that's why I don't really give a fuck about PvP. Because like
But
everyone's getting everything, and you know, expecting not to die in PvP from like everyone having all these fucking crazy abilities.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good take. The joy of Classic is wishing you had everything. Like, it is. And you do have everything inside, and that's the issue.
no, I mean
You have
but-
everything you don't want because they
This is-
all.
Go ahead.
No, you.
No. No, Shibi go. No, I was going to say that. I mean, the reason I don't fully agree with that is because it's about how can I put this? It's not about having all the abilities and all the rotations and all the expansions. It's about having the ultimate kind of class fantasy, which again for warrior is not waiting for 10 seconds to get 30 rage. That's not the
Yeah.
ultimate. For warrior is like pushing the buttons like a complete idiot. If you
Yeah, it's
don't know
not
how to
dancing
play the
around
class,
either.
I
that's
agree.
the warrior experience. And I don't know how they don't get it. Shadow Priest, same thing. It's dotting and then doing something else in the meantime while the dots are ticking. That's the Shadow Priest experience, so on and so forth. They've maybe kind of
No,
derailed
they.
it.
See, I think they went down. They like tunnel vision the wrong path for each, like half the classes.
Shadow Priest need
Like
apparitions.
Shadow Priest, they went really hard on utility for some reason. Like they fucking went down. Like I have all the debuffs in the game. And then like with Ret, they hard focus like Exo to the point where you need a 2.0 weapon speed and you just keep fucking pressing Exorcism hoping you crit.
And Warlocks,
Warrior-
they didn't give you the
Warrior-
Warlock fantasy
Yeah.
at all. They just made you play Destruction and spam Incinerate.
And the opposite, they gave you discount mage.
yeah.
I honestly, he's still right. Like he's saying that, you know, who am I to say that the warrior fantasy is? That's right.
Warrior
Like,
fantasy is to like
up to
drop the fist
I
right on the keyboard.
yeah, I will tell you, Warrior fantasy is I
That's
want
the
to
fantasy.
literally tune out Discord and everything that's happening around me. I want to hit charge, go into Berserker stance, and blast all of my buttons at once,
wanna
and just
just-
keep doing that until the boss is dead.
He wants to apply a large amount of Bengay to his face
Yes.
and just start smashing it.
Yeah, that's exactly
He
what
got
I want to do.
90. He got 99s the entire Nomer raid we did when I pissed him off all fucking day.
Yeah, if I was mad in real life, I did more damage in game. It was a real thing for me in phase 2.
Damn, that rage was building.
Like I had to piss him off for him to do good.
Alan said Alan said
shit.
mage is discount mage right now.
I mean, you ain't wrong. I don't even understand what's happening to mages.
Yeah,
They
the
were
whole
doing
mage
more
scene is
DP
kind of weird. Like,
They were doing more DPS than fucking Nomer.
yeah, I don't understand what they did to mages, but that's a weird thing. Maybe next phase it's gonna be like crazy for them. Who the hell knows? But it seemed I was interested in playing mage, but not anymore.
Sod took everything from mages, man. They were like, regardless what happens, they just are. They took the biggest L.
It all started with
By
the
far.
AOE healing nerf. That's where
Yeah.
this all started
Well,
going downhill.
That they're not even they're not even the fucking AOE money making class anymore. They lost all identity.
Yeah.
They should never gotten a heal. That just
Really?
that skewed it too far. I feel like with that class.
It made it weird. It made it too hard to like focus on one playstyle.
Yeah, but it made
For
sense
them
in
to,
my
like,
opinion
buffer
because
debuff.
warlocks got to tank, and that kind of made sense with like the class fantasy. Like a warlock tank kind of was a thing in classic a little bit as well, and like, how could you do that? Give that to warlocks and not give that to mages? But then again, they didn't give priests anything different, so it is
But,
kind of
like,
weird.
Always people pissed off by whatever they do. So if you make a priest not a supporting class, then somebody's gonna complain.
They should have gave priests a melee
you know,
spec.
priest- Yeah, whatever. There is gonna be always something.
Melee
Yeah.
Moonkin.
A monk spec, dude, where they
But,
dual
like,
wield
that-
fist weapons and they're melee
Oh, there's
healers.
a class like that. Wait till Mob Classic comes out. You'll be able.
I've always wanted there to be a battle mage.
But
spec
I
with
think
melee
what-
mage.
What happened was they gave mages the healing thing, and now they have to fucking try to balance.
Yeah.
Like that was
I
that
will-
was the pure like they were the pure DPS class.
I want
Now
to
they have
feel
to
like
balance
another
that
helicopter.
Now they
I
got
wanna
this
feel
thing.
like
Like,
an-
I don't even understand mage healing, but I can just
I don't
see 'em
even
pop
know what mages
like,
are.
They can pop a like 100% heal.
Like I still don't really get it. I get it, but I don't.
Damn,
get
dude.
it.
The priest monk thing is pretty good. I just thought of that.
Nah, I want
No
battle mages.
weapons, dude. They have to use unarmed. Like they get a buff
Yeah.
by just not having weapons equipped, and they just punch shit and they heal and do wild utility for the raid. Like that would be sick.
But why don't you
I
show them
was
that
I was
private
playing
server
monk
you're on?
quite a
You'll love
bit.
it.
Yeah, that would
I
be
was
cool.
playing-
What?
Why don't you show them
I
that
was
private
monk
server?
quite a bit.
Oh yeah, Henry, you want all these cool class fantasies?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna send you a link to Ascension WoW.
I don't
I
want any
got-
fucking private server, dude.
You play some Ascension WoW, you'll tell me, man, it's not different. I enjoy Ascension for what it is. Like I've
Like
got,
a mobile game.
I've got a fucking, because
Everything you're about to say is gonna make zero sense to us.
I've got a character that has auto shot or auto shoot, tamed dragon for a pet. I've got a giant dragon for a pet. Fucking warlock dots for spells, and mage armor and priest utility and shit, dude. It's like you get to pick the abilities you want.
That's cool, but to an extent, that to me gets rid of all class fantasy. Like that, I don't know that I wouldn't be fully interested in.
Well, all right. So where it picks up is because that is a problem in the early game. Once you get to the max level in Ascension, you can actually go out in the world and discover certain items that you that require you. All right. So let's say I've got corruption, this, and this. It turns if you have all the corresponding abilities
I've
needed for
lost
this
interest
build.
in this so much.
Well, fuck you, Cheese.
I've never lost more.
He just wants
interest
to
in my life.
complain.
I've never lost more interest in my life.
Like I'm slowly working on mine becoming a shadow
I'm
hunter.
slowly falling asleep.
Okay.
I hate Ascension WoW pudding.
Fuck you. I
All right.
enjoy it.
Okay. All right. I
I've
gotta
played it.
bring this home. We gotta bring this home here. We passed 2.5 hours again.
You'll have that on the big
That
job.
was quality content.
It was quality stuff. And next week's gonna be insane with Bob on here and Alan, dude. That's gonna be wild. But all right, I think I'm content with ending it here. If everyone is good with ending it here, we will have one again next week, and you guys are always more than welcome to come on if you want to. And
Yeah,
we
my
can
computer keeps dying. I
Yeah,
need
we-
to bounce. I don't know what's going on.
I'm getting Dragon's Cry tomorrow for my birthday.
hopefully we get you
Xbox is
Dragon's
rented.
Cry.
Oh wait, it's still locked.
I'll unlock it after I end this. But is everyone good? Glorious, you good? Shibby, cheese, pudding. Nothing else to say? We're
I'm
good.
with. I got a question.
What's
Since Dragon's Cry is mine, do I still need to soft reserve it,
Oh
or can I
my
just
God, dude.
can I go with 2 other items and still get Dragon's Cry?
Whenever we have 20, you can hard rest it.
All right.
Yeah, deal.
Sounds
You're the
good.
only one that wants it, so it's yours. It's yours,
You're
pudding.
damn right. I'm the only one that wants it.
That's yours.
Nobody wants
I think
that
I think
fucking
Rainy
weapon.
wants it as well. I think.
Hey,
Does Rainy
oh,
want
No.
it?
No,
One
It's not
other-
reindeer.
You know what? I have no idea. You guys.
Rainy wants the fist weapons. The sword is best for nobody.
I don't want to get in the middle of it, so no. Just nerf paladins, nerf paladins, buff shaman.
It is,
leave
Alan.
the word as is.
All right.
This
Okay,
man
so we're
gets
gonna
it.
end it there. We're gonna 100% call this right here. We're not gonna keep going on any other topics. We'll save it for next week. Everyone say goodbye. If you have any socials you want to plug, go ahead and do it right now. I don't think anyone here really streams
No.
or anything, so we're good.
We are not social. We are just, sweaty nerds. so-
Iggy can get on somewhere.
Oh.
I can.
Oh wait, I
equip
can
Dragon's
plug my
Cry.
socials.
Yeah. Don't do anything weird now.
Not
Okay. I was waiting for a Pornhub link or something.
Hear that drum beat come in.
Thanks for having us, Hammer.
Yeah.
Again. Fun topics.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. This was definitely a good one. I knew it was going to be spicy. So next week probably be even more spicy. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you everyone for watching.
Drew.
We will see you all again live next
I do
Tuesday.
love you. Is
Later,
that you
later.
typing to yourself?
Yeah.
See you guys.
Should be this whole
That's
time. Should be this. Yeah.
Burner.
Should be.
That's where he like hits hammer with some fucking nasty shit.
Comments on my shit.
It's like, yo, you fucking smell.
All
Why do
right.
you blink so much?
Stop it, dude. I'm ending this right now. I'm ending it. Goodbye, everybody.
I thought you had already ended it.
I
Kyle.
just ended it now.